What's happening, world? Happy Friday. Welcome to another episode of, excuse me, Cognac Confessionals. I'm your host, Deshaun, here at Where Media Meets Studios, in conjunction with VJTV Network, Feral Films, History in the Making Entertainment.
Hey!
Shout out to the incredible Drop Knock. As always, been a very interesting week.
Yes,
First, send my rest in peace to Cuzzo FF. Rest in peace. Got laid to rest today. It's been an interesting week as always.
Mark Anthony's in the doorway already with the rest in peace for Kevin Samuels.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? We're going to speak on that, brother. Rest in peace to the Noob. Kevin Samuels, I got some opinions because I've been seeing the idiot box, the peanut gallery been doing a little too much for my liking.
Apparently they feared even physical form because, like in the words of Tupac, because I didn't see none of that when the nigga was around.
Bro, for real, because I'm just like, fuck it. Let's just go into it for, off top. Whether you agree with the man or not, that's your choice and your opinion. I don't have an opinion on your opinion on that. But the way I'm seeing some posts and all this shit about people celebrating that he passed, I'm like, come on, where's your humanity at? And people wonder why, we get looked at the way we do when, that's why I made my post, #disagreeable bitches. Let that man rest on. You ain't have to agree with what he said or whatever, but at the same time, some of the shit he said,
yes, sir, Bond, it's true,
was on point. I've never watched his show personally. I've only seen, I just seen clips and whatnot, and was like, oh, okay, hey, wow, and laugh and giggle, but a lot of people can't deal with the truth, and that sucks, shit. But
my thing is that I can see where he could hurt some feelings, because even though it don't hurt my feelings, I do understand the concept of, some people, catch feelings over this type of thing. However, I know a lot of his delivery, it's entertainment.
Shock value.
It's entertainment. So thus, when people are on there speaking these type of things, I don't get into the semantics of how they said it or what slang they use. I try to sift through it and get the goal. Fuck how you saying it. I want to know what is Deshaun actually saying.
Right.
I also want to go past what are the words you're saying, because sometimes we can speak in a way and it's got a double meaning. Like my man always says, you'll catch that at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
So on that philosophy of you'll catch that at 3 a.m, you want to be like, okay, fuck what the nigga is saying. What is he saying? What's the kernels? And all I ever saw in what the man was saying was, when you take away the shock value, the entertainment aspect and all that, there was some truth, and the truth was for men and women.
Right.
Man, you want to have a certain quality of woman, you got to step your game up.
Right.
You can't sit around and expect dimes to be slobbering all over you, and you out here doing bad. Same thing for women. It was so I saw him as a knife to cut both ways.
Right.
Now this imagery came that he was only vicious towards black women, and I don't feel that's true.
Right. Like I said, I haven't watched enough of his clips to really engage it enough. But you don't have to watch a whole season to know, the gist of what the subject matter is.
I seen one clip where he asked this dude, did he have a big dick? And everybody was like, what the fuck? But when I looked at the whole clip was basically, nigga, you ain't got no money. At least is you piping the hoes there. So you ain't piping them. You ain't got a lot of money.
What is you doing?
How is you expecting to have a certain level of, man, he was cutting dude to the bone. But like I said, a lot of what I saw and a lot of what people seem to hate him about was out of context of what was he actually trying to say. And he was actually saying, man, get your shit together. Or play on the level that you want.
Exactly. Don't price your pussy out the game.
Yeah.
Don't price your dick out the game, out the league. I mean,
I saw a video.
The Mirror.
Yeah, don't lie.
Yeah, The Mirror. Exactly.
I saw a video the other day. It was a World Star type video, and dude found another man's clothes in the woman's apartment, and he was smashing on her like, "You got nothing." And she was sitting here like this. She was like, "Oh, well, you can get out. You can get out." And he was like, "Oh, I pay the bills for it." She was like, "You can go." And then she changed it up to, "Or you can stay, whatever." And she was not very attractive.
Okay.
In a raggedy apartment.
But she was the breadwinner, right?
But he was talking about he was working and paying the bills. But the thing is that, as in the words of the high value man, high value ain't even necessarily material. If that dude would even value himself as a man, he wouldn't have sat there letting this booger bear treat him like he wasn't shit. Okay. Like if he done knew his value, and that's where people like Kevin Samuels come in, because there's a lot of men out there, and women too, because there's women that put up with
bullshit.
I got women that I'm related to that they put up with shit from niggas that I have to say, I ain't trying to hate on blood, but you letting that nigga do all that? That nigga's what? You can go get 10 of him down at the corner store. So it go both ways. When people say high value, it's not just money. Like, know your worth. And if your work, and then be real with yourself, awareness. If your value ain't to where you want it to be, don't fake it till you make it. Go get it to where you need it to be. Right. And I'm not saying go get a bunch of money to fool with some of these chicks, because that's a foolish ideology. Because
you can't tell if she wants you for what you got or for you.
Here go the thing. Here go another thing. I got a partner who went and got this particular car to stun on this particular female, this and that. And all I can think about is, I know niggas who tapped that who ain't had none of that. So if you go get this flammy car, go get this flammy car because that's what you want. Yeah. Don't get no flammy car to stunt to pull females, because some of these females been hit by niggas who they had to Uber the nigga over there to come get it.
Conversation run the nation, and procrastination is a violation.
Like, don't sell yourself short. Have some value about yourself, but don't let it be a false, I'm all that. No, you ain't all that, man. Calm down. Get your weight up.
At the end of the day,
get out the bar, stack you up a down payment, accumulate some things, and guess what? The women will come to you like they falling out of heaven, without you even saying a word.
Let's run down and fuck one of them cows. Walk down and fuck them all.
Man.
Classic. Colors. Classic.
But what was he really saying? Take your time. Slow down.
Time. You ain't got to stunt too hard. You don't. And I've said it, and I've been off the market for damn near 20, but I'm just saying. I remember doing shit that a lot of motherfuckers talk about nowadays as just and I'm still a regular nigga. Excuse me, a regular dude, man. I'm able to do some things, but still. Just saying, I don't think I'm better than nobody, but having a regular young teenage life with, the regular fast food jobs, shit, we was doing shit.
Mike Chambers.
On regular shit, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, I don't know, man, motherfuckers be...
Yeah, I'm amazed at some of these dudes. I be wondering,
doing too much and anyway, yeah.
Some of these cats, some of the cats looking at the antics and stuff that they pulling off now, I have to ask myself, what was y'all doing between the ages of 18 to 25? Right. Like, what was y'all doing? Like, did you have to wait till you turned 45 and bought you a Harley and joined the motorcycle club to finally live?
Right.
Because I guess that's why these niggas be having these midlife crises. You settled for a broad who tolerated you. Yeah. You blew your whole 20s when you should have been partying and doing everything under the sun. You did that being responsible. Then you wake up one day at the age of 40, realize you only got a few more years, especially a few years as a healthy, well-functioning human being, and now you don't want to waste them, and you blow up your financial situation, you blow up your relationship. Like, man, because I ain't going to lie to y'all. Between them teenage years to mid-20s, I did way too much. Way too much. But the flip side to that is, I was handsome, had paper in my pocket, and had a name for myself, so I didn't have to put the effort in. Like, I know some cats, they be like, oh, I got 4 or 5 women. Nigga, you holler at 100. You know?
Your average is not good.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? You know, like I said, and I'm not lying to you, fellas. You get yourself together, you get your name ringing, it's like they're going to fall out the sky for you.
And having multiple women is a rich man's game in one aspect. But at the same time, it's really
Mike.
not. Yeah, I was going to say, Mike said...
It's a man with... It's basically, if you carry yourself a certain way, they gonna come to you. It's the law. Now they put all kinds of labels.
Laws of attraction.
Laws of attraction and all that.
Laws of physics and...
But that's one of the things.
Animal mystique of...
But you got to break it down. If you want to know who the alpha is in your life, see how many people in your circle don't make a move until they know what that person's going to do. It might be you, it might be somebody else, but that's the alpha. That's the leader. And people are drawn to leaders. They drawn to that charisma. And it don't matter if you got a gang of money. Because I know some cats right now that came from doing 20 years, whatever, ain't got a dime in their pocket, but they come into the room. They command any room that they in.
You walk in, yeah.
And they carry a level of respect without even opening their mouth. And that ain't about paper. And I know, it's a cliche, but I know cats that got paper, and everybody treat them like they mad corny. So it ain't a financial thing. It's a charisma thing. It's a
energy.
It's
energy don't lie.
It's in you, because you could take the big gold chain off a boss and put it on a clown, and people gonna come in the room and they still gonna be drawn to the boss.
They're gonna look at the clown because he's shiny.
But then they're gonna be like, "Hey, dude got paper, but he kind of corny."
When the conversation don't match the interview. That's another conversation.
Thanks, Mike, for stopping to check out that Dead Rappers, man. I've been getting a lot of good feedback across the country on that, man.
Y'all make sure y'all check out Dead Rappers on Tubi. I happen to make a nice little.
Yeah, you really can. You got 1.5
another Pharaoh film production. You know what I'm saying?
You got 1.5 million on the standby.
You know what I'm saying? Call your man. I come through and do what I do. I'm gonna bless your project.
And I appreciate that, man. My man always make time. It could be some last minute shit, this and that, man. We make it happen, and the whole project overall came in well. Speaking of that, we're supposed to have a couple folks that's in it, supposed to be on their way.
Yeah, our guest tonight was, because also y'all, what we got, because we're gonna talk about that Dave Chappelle shit too, but next week we got the premiere of Love and Aliens at Tommy T's on Thursday next week.
Some real talented comedians.
We got Louis Belt in the building.
Okay, Sonny
Bo.
Jerry Law. Rico the Great out of Berkeley.
Mario gonna be there?
No.
Mario's out. Mario out doing his thing. Shout out to my man Mario.
He's traveling and doing
doing his thing, man.
I do got a special guest though coming from Sacramento, a real big comedian that's coming out. One of his folks is in the movie. You know what I'm saying? I'm keeping that one secret.
A hush to the two.
I'm keeping that one secret. But when he pops up, y'all gonna be like, all right. And we got Ashanti Chanice is actually and Dano India is gonna also be in the building.
Gonna be in the building. Yeah, we gonna be doing it big next week at Tommy T. So if you haven't got your tickets, man, y'all go on and chime in to hit Tommy T's up and hit that.
Let's make it happen, because I really do want to look at.
You know what I'm saying? Next week is epic, because and then right after that, I'm on the plane right after.
I'm literally. This is one of the ones, man. I really put my elbow into it, man. It's a hood movie, but it's a hood sci-fi movie, man. We got it all in this one, man. We got aliens, we got witches, man. We got bad bitches, we got it all, man.
You got your boy.
Hey, hello.
You got my bro, Jay Jonah in that thing.
Man,
you got a bunch of us in there, man. We trying to, you know what I'm saying, like Pharaoh's, like you say, man. You take the pen and you tell our own stories.
Man, but I'm trying to put a little twist to it too, though, man. Because, it's a lot of cats all over the country, especially shout out to them cats out of Detroit and places like that. They're making hood movies. But, hey, everybody, but, hey.
Shout out to everybody that got
But, hey, they ain't putting these special effects and these aliens and y'all I mean up in them joints. You know what I'm saying? The town gonna always be some innovators.
Shout out to everybody doing their thing. Yeah, so Yeah, next week, man. Hey, like for real though. Thursday next week at Tommy T's in Pleasanton. It's Love and Aliens premiere, and it's a comedy show. So you get this is basically a 2-for-1.
Yeah.
It's a 2-for-1. You getting because like I said, the comedians that's gonna be on stage is top tier. Oh, Martha watching. Shout out to Martha.
Hey, Martha did
happy
something
birthday. Martha's birthday was yesterday. She tuning in. Hey.
Martha did some of the special effects on this joint.
You know what I'm saying?
We trying to celebrate her and Tiffany's birthday next week. You know what I'm saying?
That's what we doing. We doing it big next week. It's gonna be lovely. But also, you know, we got this the Dave Chappelle shit. Yeah, I'm gonna before we switch to that on the Kevin Samuels thing. I'm just gonna say this.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, rest in peace to the Nuke. You know,
peace to the
you ain't have to agree with that man or nothing. You don't. But the way that these, you know, and it's just continued division amongst us and. Male
some of
versus
them that
female.
are celebrating are fitting the stereotype.
Exactly, because the truth hurt. You see my post I posted, hit dogs holler, do better. You know what I'm saying? Some people can't deal with the truth. And it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I ain't saying I agree with everything he said, but he brought up conversations that needed to be had.
And some people getting caught up in the semantics, or they didn't like how he said it, or certain terminology. I'm like, man, as a people, we got to start looking past, because unfortunately, the way Black American culture is set up, a lot of our news and views are disseminated through entertainment.
Right.
So a lot of us got to start looking past the delivery. And say, what is the essence? And use some critical thinking skills and say, okay, what is the essence of what this person is saying, and is that true or not? All the other stuff, the antics, the theatrics, the delivery style, that's for entertainment.
That's how you get more people to shock value.
Yeah, that's
entertainment. I get the shock value of it. I get it.
But what's the truth?
Right.
Is there any truth to what this man is saying? And unfortunately, for some of y'all that's upset, there was truth in what he was saying. You know, so like even on the opposite end of the spectrum, you got the Derek Jackson type dude who they all love. In fact, if Derek Jackson was to die tomorrow, they'd be on Facebook crying. But Derek Jackson was obviously dogging his wife and not living up to none of that he was talking about.
And at the same time, just beyond just the bigger picture, just in my humble opinion, is once again, society puts too much weight on people and exalt and idolize people too much, too quickly, and want to cast judgment. It's like y'all put these people on these pedestals.
Steve Harvey a fucking relationship expert at one point.
Never mind. So I'm just saying, man, just let's do better. Let's love each other. You already know the melanated woman is God. I will always defend and protect and love the melanated woman.
Black women and black men, though, I do want to tell y'all, though, both,
we need each other.
Use some discernment. You know what I'm saying? Critical thinking skills. Because too many, and I grew up in a family full of people that if you gave them facts, if you broke it down, gave them a big bibliography breakdown of this is why I'm telling you the truth, they would literally turn to you and say, well, all I know, and then reiterate the bullshit.
That's the nigga statement of, I don't give a fuck about what you said. When they say all I know, that means I ain't heard shit you said.
And I'm a kind of a born logical, rational person, and that shit used to send me into a tailspin because I'm sitting there like, what you're saying isn't true. That isn't fucking true. And it took me until deep into adulthood to realize that, unfortunately, a lot of us Black Americans, we operate on feelings. Right. And so if you want to tap into them, you can take your truth, but you still got to dress it up and give it to them in an entertainment kind of way. Because if you don't, the con man, you going to try to give them straight facts. The con man going to come behind you and sell them a dream, and you going to be sitting over there like, That shit isn't even true. How they biting on that shit?
Hey, hop up in your bag. Hop up out your
So
feelings.
even if you giving them real, you still got to sell it in a con man kind of way, or niggas ain't gonna hear you. Black people will hear you, but niggas ain't gonna hear you.
Hence my quote slogan that I always say: you'll get that at 3 in the morning. And I say shit because I don't expect you to catch it when I say it. I don't, because I say some slick shit, but I really be dropping gems. And sometimes I say the shit because I want to speak to your subconscious. You know, because a lot of people don't be paying attention. You just watch to watch. I get it. It's cool. Whatever. And at 3 in the morning, when you sitting back, probably playing video games, smoking weed, got to eating your girl pussy, whatever y'all doing at 3 in the morning, when you're sitting back and your mind is taking over like it's supposed to, the factory reset goes on in the process, it'll be that boom. But you'll get that at 3 in the morning.
But that's what the lucky ones.
Keisha, hey sis, how you doing?
Because that's what the lucky ones. Because let me tell you like this. Okay. I'm a deep thinker.
We gonna get on that too.
I'm a deep thinker.
Very much.
I'm a deep thinker, but in the last few years, leading up to say 2018, I had got caught up in the hustle and bustle of life. I'm hustling all day, then I go into sleep, this and that, right? I moved to Atlanta for a minute. I was out there working for State Farm. And the way my work schedule was set up, and I don't know anybody in Atlanta, at least not nobody enough to connect, and I was working 6 days a week, 14 hours days. And then one day I found myself, every day I was going home to my room, and I'm looking up at the ceiling. And one time it was 3 in the morning, I couldn't sleep. But for the first time in many, many years, I was alone. The Wi-Fi wasn't working, so I didn't have no cable. I didn't have no distractions. And I had some clarity. And I started thinking on some shit and reflecting on some shit.
Let me do it right.
And even my opinions on some shit, I started thinking about it. Because, and unfortunately, many of us are so caught up in life that we don't even have time to assess life. We just function it. And the days blend in. That's why sometimes people be like, oh, today Wednesday? Why you lost track of the days? Because you just in the blur.
Hustle and bustle.
But
3 in the morning.
But when you have a moment, 3 in the morning, everybody else is asleep. You woke, you thinking about it. The TV ain't on.
And hustlers is up.
And you start thinking about shit.
Mind motivated.
And then you say,
at 3 in the morning.
Oh, that's what that nigga meant by that.
Exactly, and that's the point of that, because
I speak
ism to you like it's supposed to. So Keisha brought up a point, which we might as well go into it before we get, since we on it. She said, "Yeah, how y'all feel about the woman that he was with before the?"
I actually looked up the woman.
Yeah,
I actually looked her up, and apparently she's a former Division I soccer player.
She's a nurse.
She's a nurse. So it's a lot of people I see some people on Facebook that I'm friends with talking about, oh, the nigga was tricking and this and that, and I'm like, what gives y'all the indication that she was a hoe when the woman had a college degree and is working as a nurse? So it's like
millionaire hoes.
And then I see somebody else say, oh, she was sloppy something, and I'm sitting there like, no, she was thick. I seen her picture.
Yeah, somebody said, "Oh, she ain't a solid 6 or 5." Or I'm like,
actually, as far as I'm concerned, she wasn't. Here's the thing: she wasn't bad looking, and she was educated. And as a nurse in Georgia, I know she was $100,000 a year type woman. So everything that he said, this was a high value woman. She wasn't physically unattractive. And she had a lucrative career, and she was educated. And let's not kid each other on the other part. He was 57, and she was 30. And a lot of 57-year-old niggas out here can pull an in-shape, educated 30-year-old. So let's not kid each other. So even though he died,
hey, Connie,
as far as I'm concerned,
Brother Kyler,
he was kicking it like a high-value man, because there's a lot of 57-year-old niggas right now who the only way they're going to get some 30-year-old pussy is if they tricking heavy or they're sugar daddy.
Shit. Well, here's the thing, and this is my thought when it comes to all this. Because, of course, you got the, oh, man, he was set up. You hear the, and we don't know the details of all that. But of
the
course,
was damn near 60 and trying to fuck a woman half his age. You don't have a heart attack.
And social media and niggas usually
run
with Brother Clark. How you doing?
Juanita.
Juanita. Yeah, social media and people usually run with the whatever narrative get the juiciest, and because. Yeah, she was a nurse. Because I seen a post that was like, oh, man, it's a nurse. She, in the instant comment, she set him up. She gave him what she knew was going to send him into cardiac arrest. Now, here's the thing.
The nigga was down there 60 fucking a woman half his age. He had a heart attack.
Hold on. I'm not assuming that that is not possible. So, but at the same time, I'm not going to speak on all that without the details. It's possible. Because anything is possible. If you don't believe that it's possible, you're an idiot. If you just, oh no, they couldn't have. No, shit happens. Motherfuckers have gotten hit by going to open the mailbox in the morning. So when you become a prominent figure and you have followers and a following and your aura or whatever is growing, and you have a certain group that is against you, of course, you're going to have people plotting against you. I'm never on a pedestal where I think that shit is not possible.
But the flip side to that, though, is that in the beautiful black people world, there's always conspiracies, setups, this and that, right? But if you look at Occam's razor, which basically is essentially in a nutshell, I'm gonna give you a simplified version of Occam's razor. The most likely scenario is usually the most likely scenario. This man was 57 years old with a Red Bull addiction, and according to people close to him, also likes to enjoy some of that booger sugar.
I don't know about that.
A 57-year-old man snorting coke, drinking Red Bull. I mean, that's what a lot of people are saying that seem to know him. So that's why I'm just throwing it out there. That's why I'm putting allegedly on there.
I have no clue, no idea.
Well, that's why I'm throwing the allegedly on there. But if I'm a 57-year-old man who allegedly occasionally liked to snort a couple lines.
I don't know about that.
Did a lot of Red Bull.
I don't know about that.
And then was knocking down a chick literally half his age.
Right,
guess what?
I don't know.
Guess what?
Don't speak on it.
Niggas in that description, they have heart attacks. I remember one time I was 18 years old. I'm finna tell one of my family business, but she's gone now. Fuck it, she's dead now. I was 18 years old, and I got a call from my auntie, and she said, "You the only nigga I know can keep his mouth shut." Because I had been through some penitentiary level shit and stayed solid. And she said, "I need you to come to," and she named a motel that was hella out the way. And I was like, I ain't finna ask Auntie no questions. I hopped in my little whip and I pushed my way out there. Auntie had went to the room with a married nigga who was about 55. And they went to a room hella far out. And mid-stroke, that nigga had a heart attack and she was out there stuck with the dead nigga. So I snuck her. I got in there. Me and we pulled out. And his family to this day is still confused as to how this nigga died in a heart attack and why was he in that hotel room and who was with him. Auntie dead now, so I ain't got to really keep the secret. But the thing is that mid-50 niggas fucking women half their age sometimes have heart attacks.
True.
That's not a conspiracy.
That you're absolutely right, too. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, I mean, the thing is, we get so caught up on trying to make a story out of something that we
Juanita, you're correct. Unhealthy lifestyle.
It could be, yeah. Because here's the thing, once again, and I didn't follow the brother a lot. I never watched a full episode. Mm-hmm. I only saw clips that were on my my network feed.
I was actually a huge fan of him.
And I would crack up because I was like, man, he telling motherfuckers what it is. Because I'm sorry, once again, I will defend the melanated woman to the ends of the earth. But a lot of the points he was bringing up and saying was real shit. It was putting a mirror in front of people to saying, you want to put yourself here, here, here. And I'm not saying don't have self-esteem and feel you
but the thing 12. Is, it's a false narrative to say he only went in on women because he went in on men as well.
Right. But and to that point, mm-hmm. That's the thing that didn't get put out there as much.
Right.
Because once again, social media is a double-edged sword.
But see, a lot of the women he went in on was offended. A lot of the men that he went on, it's like this. An older woman could come to a young woman and say, hey, do this, get your shit together. And the younger woman will say be like, oh, that bitch just hating, or that bitch mad. But when we was younger and the OG nigga said, hey, let me pull your coat, young blood, do whoop-de-whoop, we'll be like, good looking out, OG.
Right. And here's the thing. And this may...
So when he went in on black men, we appreciated it.
Right. And this is just... once again, this is my honest, humble opinion on looking at it from the outside, not from the inside. I'm not in that inner circle. I'm in some inner circle.
Yes, Keisha. Life experience is everything.
But looking at the way he passed, the narrative that has been given to us is... here's a man who was, if I take I'm not gonna call them miserable bitches, even though that's my hashtag for the people that's disrespecting him in death. I don't think you should do that, and that's really where that comes from. But anyway, look at the narrative of the possibility of the way he died is a man who, look at the narrative, was with a woman and had heart problems.
That's not what I'm saying, Keisha.
And passed,
I said
and the irony of the situation when the narrative that is perpetuated to society is, oh, he's attacking women and he died having a heart attack because he couldn't handle some pussy. That's the irony of that situation. Is a fucking novel in itself.
Yeah, and that's crazy. I remember when I was a younger dude.
Right, Keish, look at everything, because it could be a setup to tarnish what he was saying, what he was doing.
But how would it tarnish it? Because to some niggas it looked like, man, the OG went out at damn near 60, banging a chick half his age. Yeah. Shit, that nigga was on the right path. He came and went at the same time. I remember one time I was a younger dude. And I was in front of some OGs, and I said, damn, man, I got to work on this. I wasn't
following him either, Keisha.
And I said, I got to work on this gut, right? I said, man, because the hoes be tripping. I was a younger dude.
No, chicks love teddy bears.
I'm just saying what the OG told me. One of the OG said, nigga, what is you, a bitch? Worried about your figure? Fuck that, nigga. Get you a bigger shirt, nigga, and a bigger wallet. Man, them hoes gonna love you anyway. Nigga, conduct yourself like a king and fuck what a bitch think about all that type of shit. And I was like, ooh, and a couple people was like, he was kind of harsh. But I was able to discern past the language that he was using.
But he was
to the message. Like, the message was
be firm in who you are and your appearance. Fuck what anybody think. Love you, and if they don't love you, fuck them. Exactly.
And at the end of the day, that was some of the messages that he imparted. If you're a man of value, then make sure that you treat as value. And if you're not a man of value, make yourself valuable.
Right.
Be honest with your assessment of yourself. If you out of shape, get in shape if that's your hang up. If you ain't got enough bread, figure out a way to get bread. Don't be out here trying to date. That was his message to men. Don't be out here trying to date, be up in somebody's face, wasting their time until you get your shit together.
Yeah, that's real.
And
you can't
he had the same, and a lot of men was like, okay. And he also had the same message to women. You can't be a CNA expecting a nigga with a master's degree to come take care of your 3 kids and deal with your 3 baby daddies. And that was, he's bashing black women. No, he was basically saying, get your shit together. Because here goes the thing.
Bring to the table.
Erykah Badu got 4 baby daddies.
I thought it was 3.
Is it 3?
3. And all of them famous.
It's okay.
I already know where you're going with this, but
I'm just saying, ain't that nigga gonna sweat Erykah Badu for having 3 baby daddies?
But let the female X from the hood who don't have those opportunities have 3 baby daddies, but and it's a problem.
Erykah Badu has a certain level of value
and prestige.
You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
So it's not wild to tell this. Boom,
but you gotta hold the mirror. You can hold the mirror, and I love Erykah Badu.
I love her too.
All day.
And if she walked in here right now, she'd get loved right here on camera.
But
I would love me some Erykah Badu.
If it was a regular female, I ain't even gonna call her a chick, because a chick is a baby chick.
But Erykah Badu is a woman who's accomplished things.
Exactly,
like,
true. She makes choices and she does what the fuck she wants.
Yeah.
With, upstanding and saluted. But if that was a normal or regular female who catches
why would
the
you
bus,
want to deal with 3 baby daddies and one of them who every time he comes to see the kid, he got a pistol and he getting at you stupid? Why would you want to deal with that? You see what I'm saying? So it ain't a matter of she got 3 baby daddies. It's the matter of she got 3 baby daddies of low caliber and low vibration, and you supposed to come off your pedestal as a king and accept that? Get the fuck out of here.
Okay, I get you. She said, hold on. She said, you have 2 children, and there are men who second guess on dating me, and I don't have a baby daddy at all.
That's because those men haven't took a chance to know you. But if you was to know Keisha, you would know that she's an exceptional woman.
And I'm gonna tell you something, fam. Here's the thing about it. And to the dudes that's watching and watching now, may watch this later. I'm gonna give you a gem. This is something you'll get at 3 a.m. Yeah, men are sightly, visual creatures. Yeah, we will always be that.
Where's Candace and Tiffany?
Yeah, they need to get that. But anyway, to what I'm saying, Keish, to your comment, and men, yeah, we are sightly and all that. Yes, we need to see ass, hips, tips, and all that, and want the affection because y'all want to be treated like a woman, like your mama treated you in a sense. But you still want the woman to do all this shit. But you look at a woman who got I'm gonna use the term baggage, and I don't mean it derogatory at all. Actually, I'm not even gonna call it baggage. So strike that. You have a woman who has lived and comes with the package that she comes with, and there's nothing wrong with that package. But society, social media, all these platforms, and low vibrational thinking will have people thinking that if she comes with anything other than herself that she's unworthy or whatever. Fuck that. That's bullshit. Don't subscribe to that narrative. Low vibrational people subscribe to those narratives. Now at the same time, I'm a double-edged sword. I'm gonna be devil's advocate. And this ain't at you. But for people who are doing things and want to accomplish things, if you can't handle that situation, don't put yourself in the environment or the ring to try to entertain it. She can look good and have all that. Have enough respect for yourself, but not only also have that respect for her to be like, you know something, I'm not going to waste your time. Mm-hmm. Because, and me, I'm married. Shit, I'm fucking been with my wife damn near 20. But I'm just saying that I talk to single niggas and whatnot and partners and friends. And, you know what I'm saying? I see shit. Mm-hmm. And I would, man, to be single right now would, oh my God. I'm sorry. I feel for y'all. I'm being honest with y'all. I do. I feel for y'all.
Because some of y'all ain't equipped for the game.
Yeah, it's woo, man. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. It's rough. But have enough decency about yourself to tell a motherfucker. And I've always been the type of person to be like, I'm not going to waste your time. I'll probably waste my time more than I'll waste your time. You know, and you'll get that at 3 a.m. But there's a difference between the motherfucker who has time and the motherfucker who makes time. And never confuse the two. Because the person who makes time to make shit happen, that's the important dude. I can have all the free time in the world. But if I don't utilize that time to be a part of what you got going on, that really don't mean shit. If I'm a person who don't have the time, but I make the time, salute me when you see me. Whether you like it or not. But yeah, for real.
That's facts.
So, hold on, let me see. There are no men who second. Oh. Yeah, Keish, I'm going to tell you this. Black man to melanated queen. Mm-hmm. The motherfucker who I will honor and represent, he's still being molded.
Yeah.
And nothing happens at our pace. You know, nothing happens at our pace. And I get it. Yeah, that's you. And shit right there. Nothing happens at our pace.
Yeah, if you come in here and drink up this good yak and not appear.
To do that.
No, I'm going to appear.
Nothing happens at our pace. And
it's
I get
God's
it.
timing.
We and I catch myself with the, man, I want this shit to happen, and why is this really, when you sit back, that them 3 a.m. conversations when you have with yourself?
That's if you're honest and have self-awareness.
Had those, I'm with you, and Keisha already know. We already hollered. You gonna be here because I love your energy, and I'm always saluting and.
Keisha's the best.
Yes,
I appreciate the shit out of her because she's one of the few people that I have in my life that when I speak to her, I know that it's gonna be 100% real, raw, and uncut.
You need
so,
that.
You know, she's
need
good
that.
people. I appreciate
I'm gonna tell you
Keisha.
something. That's we only got one tonight. I'm gonna tell you something about with men. And men need a female, and you don't. And when I say this, y'all get this. Don't get this at 3 a.m. But if you delay it in your brain, you can get it at 3 a.m. I don't mind. You need a female that you can bounce shit off of. That you're not that you're not physically interacting with sexually and none of that. That taint and cloud the conversation level, because you need a sounding wall to bounce off. And I'm not saying it's not taken away from your woman, your wife, and none of that. But y'all have a different relationship. There's nothing wrong with having a platonic female friend that you can just be like, man. And I've always had a few from my road dog days as a youngster that I could just bounce shit off of and been cool.
True that.
It's dope as fuck.
Because
she said she appreciates you too.
And I appreciate her. In fact, because being unable to get that balance.
Don't sit your ass down and quit twirling.
Being unable to get that balance is the problem a lot of fellas got, because a lot of y'all only interact with, say, females you're involved in a romantic level, and they either have an incentive to bullshit
I hear you, Vaughn.
and gas you up like you this great nigga, or tear you down to try to control you. So to be able to get a female perspective on your life and the moves that you're making that's unbiased and doesn't have doesn't have that interest in you is valuable, because a lot of y'all, you're missing balance in your perspective, and that's why some of you make bad decisions, because you don't have a balanced view on what you're trying to do. See, because if a woman, if your only females that you know you're romantically involved in them, there's some that's gonna tell you, "Ooh, you the greatest nigga, daddy," and then you confused when you break up with her and she say you ain't shit.
False narrative.
I thought I was great. No, nigga, because
it's yours.
Because every nigga she deal with, she tell them they're a great nigga, and then when she done with them, use a little dick motherfucker who wasn't about shit. Because
porn and all these other outside stimuli dictates that response.
And then you got the other woman who's gonna think that she can keep you by controlling you. Oh, nigga, you ain't shit. Oh, nigga, you need to control you. Start thinking, I ain't
because
shit.
Because their mama wasn't shit.
You know what I'm saying? So sometimes when you're romantically involved with a woman, whatever narrative she's giving you, oh, daddy, you can do it. Or, nigga, what you think you gonna go up there and do? It's based from either she's trying to gas you up, and there's really more shit you need to do to be better, but she done gave you a false narrative that you that nigga. Or you might be that nigga, but because she's trying to control you, she's going to tear you down. So you can't trust a woman that you're romantically involved with, because she might not give it to you straight. Find you an actual female friend who's unbiased, who's going to give you to you straight. Like, hey, blood, if you're really trying to go down and do that, you need to change the way you dress. You need to do whoop-de-whoop. Or she might tell you, hey, you ain't prepared to go down there right now.
You need the female version of the Kevin Samuels in your corner, on your team, in your circle. Yes. Somebody who can give you, because the problem...
Give you the truth.
The truth. And you got to be willing to accept the truth. That's the problem with this. Like I said, it's a lot of bitter, miserable bitches. And you gotta be able to when I say miserable bitches, I don't just mean females.
You gotta be able to
I don't want nobody to be, oh, this nigga Deshaun is on some bullshit tonight. No, I'm not. I'm just on some. I've never been on bullshit. I've always been the sword cut both ways. So.
Just like your mama might sit there and tell you, oh, baby, you got this. You can win. And you go down there and fail badly. And she'll tell him, well, maybe next time. What she ain't telling you is, nigga, you wasn't equipped to go down there and make that shit happen. Right. But she your mama. She love you. She don't want to get. Whereas another female who don't got that opinion might say, Oh, blood, the way you came in there, you was finna lose, man. You need to stand up straight. You need to get your weight up. You need to do whoop-de-whoop. You might need to...
They just don't understand what you doing. Fuck them.
Right. But
as a bullshit.
man...
That'd be that bullshit.
As a man, you can't approach situations in life with just positive thoughts. You need to have an actual game plan and execute. Because as a man, you got to understand... Mm-hmm. No one loves you in the real world outside of the value that you bring to any situation.
Chris Rock.
So no one just
feel the way I feel
thinks
about
you're
Chris
great.
Rock. Chris Rock said it best. The black man is not valued unless he's bringing home the big paycheck. And
exactly.
And unfortunately, that's kind of true.
That broad that's on Section 8. Who ain't paying no rent and calling you Big Daddy because you buying her bundles every now and then, and you walking around thinking you Big Daddy. Give them 4
sacks, you done pay their rent for 2 months. You the man.
But then you try to step to that broad over there whose rent is $4,200 a month, and she's sitting there. You like, hey, what's up with it? A nigga trying to come through, and she's sitting there like, come through and kick it, nigga. I gotta pay damn near $5,000 in bills, nigga. We ain't got time to kick it. Oh, that bitch just a gold nigga. Oh, that bitch don't appreciate the player. No. Because you've been over here with this bum bitch so long, and she got you thinking you was a king. Mm-hmm. Then when you get out here in the real world, and somebody tell you, "Oh, nigga, you don't gross enough to fuck with a bitch like me," and you sitting there like, "Oh, they hating on me." No, they ain't hating on you. No, you just been getting fed bullshit, and then the first time you encounter some real shit,
adversity,
you think it's just hate, and you run back over there to the housing authority to what you comfortable with, what you used to.
And it's I can't remember who said it. But it goes back to a quote, and it's funny. It's funny, but thinking of what you just said, it brings up this quote from, I can't remember who said the shit. They said, broke niggas don't deserve pussy.
Yeah. And a lot of y'all get mad about that, but you gotta understand.
I was cracking up. Because I remember when I was broke, I used to get, babe, if you're watching, you already know. This is way before you. In high school, like I said, I'm told, I was in high school with a fast food job, doing all type of shit, fucking 3 in 1 day. But doing shit that these niggas talk about now on a regular, nigga, I'm talking about 90, 91, 92.
But the pussy I got when I was broke.
No, actually, this
don't
30
to
years.
The pussy that rich niggas
I graduated from high school 30 years ago. Next week is my 30-year high school reunion, and we out doing some shit.
Yeah, but the pussy you get when you broke, even if you get a lot of pussy as you broke, that pussy don't compare. If you look up now, like, what's the standard of 9? You look up now and you see the chicks like the Asian brand, and you look at the type of bitches that's got the 2 million followers on Instagram and all them type of bitches, the bitches that's really hot. Broke niggas ain't getting that pussy.
Actually, hold on.
So you can get turned on while you broke? Like you function well broke?
See, that's the
question. There you go. Let's go, Tim.
That's the thing. You got a lot of niggas though that if you've been broke all your life and everybody around you broke, it's a normal situation. That's why you have broke niggas that got 8 baby mamas. Mm-hmm. Because you
somebody.
But if you get a taste of money or you get a taste of having things and you fall off, you ain't trying to hear shit. No motherfucker ain't even motherfucker like, I come over here, man. I ain't trying to come over there and lay up. I gotta figure out how to get some money. So if you broke and you got a broke mindset, yeah, you can get turned on. You can fuck you can have lots of kids. But if you ever get a taste of something,
why am I gonna add to my debt when I'm really trying to do
something? You don't want to go have sex when you broke, and you gonna tell her, hey man, I'm broke. I ain't trying to kick her. I ain't kind of trying to come over there and kick it. I'm broke. But if you don't know no better,
some shit. Yeah, I can admit. I notice when my whole demeanor changes. Yeah. Now I have shit. Don't get me wrong, but when my shit ain't where I'm like used to or want it to be, I will admit my whole shit, my thought process is in a different zone. I can admit that. To where I just like, but I'm not out on the hunt and shit. It's just everything. I'm like, yeah, I need to triple this. You know, we had 6 and 10 and 7. I fuck with the stocks. I do some shit. I'm just like, and you may get this, y'all may not. Once again, I can only speak my truth. I can never speak to another man's truth because I don't put his shoes on. I don't put the condom on when he doing what he do. I don't, when he doing that, I just do what I do when I do it. And I do it well. But if my money is in a situation that makes me think some different shit, it psychologically has me in a different mode. I can be honest and say that. But we still build it. But yeah, it does. To your point.
And a lot of that just comes from environment, because like if you grew up in a certain environment and you're around a certain level of people, then this is normal. You see what I'm saying? So if it's normal, you don't even really trip. That's why you have some people having kids and you be like, she broke and you broke.
The fuck y'all
and
doing?
you already, and as a man, you already ain't taking care of the kids you got. Why would you be taking steps to impregnate someone else? What is wrong with you? Like, I have a daughter who literally, she just had 2 kids by a dude, and her kids was number 11 and number 12 for dude, and he ain't never had a job, and he ain't balling, he ain't hustling. So this is a nigga out here who's never really had a job, who sells nickel bags away. Yeah, and he already, but the thing is that he already had 10 kids.
Conversation running nation.
He already had 10 kids. He already had 9 baby mamas. Like, why would you choose this nigga?
So, okay, I was gonna say he must be hiding some gold down there. But if you got 9 baby mamas,
I'm looking at nigga every time I see him in dirty clothes and sloppy and need a haircut.
I'm sorry. I don't have no grandkids. Thank God. I'm not in a situation where I have to worry about that.
But even myself, when I was in my early 20s and first started having kids,
hey, exactly. Minimum wage,
boys. They have kids by, because I was just a nigga talking slick with nothing cracking. But I eventually developed into that nigga, but I wasn't that nigga at that stage.
I'm sorry. I just, once, like I said, I look back and society shit changes.
This nigga Mark.
You got things where in society, and I can only base shit on the shit I've experienced and lived. I can have a person I've known forever and know their whole story, but I didn't live their story. I may have been a part of their story, so I can only speak from the shit I was on. Like I said, I had a job in high school flipping burgers. My first 4, hold on, because I don't want to do no false truths. My first 5 jobs were fast food. My youngest is prom tomorrow.
I have 7 kids.
My youngest is 17. But I don't have.
about 10.
I don't have.
You got 10. You got 10 siblings.
I'm chilling. But we chilling.
About 8.
You know that meme where if your daddy drove this kind of car, you got siblings you don't know about?
Yeah, across town. Yeah,
well, my daddy drove that car.
The Terrell Owens story. Yeah, that shit. Yeah, I don't have that situation.
And like like I've told this story before, man. My father was happily married to someone other than my mother when he had me. So you know what I'm saying. So I came in the game backwards. You know what I'm saying. My father actually my father had multiple children and none by his wife. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I came in the game. And my siblings all came into the game. My father loved cheating on his wife and bringing back kids.
Did he ever have kids with his wife?
Nope. All his children was with someone else within his marriage. But the thing, I say that to say that some of us come off with we come into the game backwards. And so we grow up with certain skewed value systems. And whether we realize it or not, we often either reject our parents' lifestyle and go completely against it, but many of us subconsciously embrace it. Like, I got niggas who be like, man, fuck my daddy. My daddy wasn't there. And I be sitting there like, nigga, you got like 5. Your daddy wasn't there for you. You got 5, 6 motherfuckers that you wasn't there for. So you actually a worse person than your daddy.
Situation.
You actually worse than your daddy was.
The thing, and I will say this once again. With us, I can only speak for us. I can't speak for no other ethnicity or nothing. We, as a whole, have a problem looking in the mirror and holding ourselves accountable. We only hold ourselves accountable to the threshold of pain or responsibility we can take on the surface level to ourselves.
And why is that, in your opinion?
Why? Because we're not built. No, actually, I'm not gonna say we're not built for the long haul, because we are. We're built for it. You just don't believe that you can handle the bricks, the bumps in the roads, and the self accountability, because you let society and everything. And I'm not saying it's our fault.
Mm-hmm.
We have responsibility and accountability in the reason why we are the way we are, but it's not all our fault. True, it's not. But we got to stop having excuses. We got to stop participation trophies. And, well, I would have did this if he wouldn't have did that. No, you just wanted to go fuck 5 niggas that week in Vegas. Just call it what it is. It's okay. And hold on. Let me get in there. And same for the dude. Man, dude, I just want to go fuck hella bitches. Okay, nigga, claim it. Own your shit. Nobody wants to own their shit. Everybody wants to pass the fucking buck. And we still haven't got on the extra shit that we was gonna get on. What's up, Kenyelle? You supposed to be here tonight. I see you Thursday, sis. The real shit is accountability.
I'm gonna tell you why there's no accountability.
Because everybody want to be the victim. Because the victim gets AFDC, the victim gets EBT, the victim gets sympathy, the victim gets bullshit. Fuck that. Everybody can't be the fucking victim.
I'm gonna tell y'all why. And it's gonna be some controversial shit.
Speak it.
And I'm finna tell y'all why, man. It's a combination of 2 things. One, your grandma didn't have much learning.
Your grandma had kids by the mailman and blamed it on your granddad.
I'm going to tell you, not only did your grandma not have a lot of learning,
but granddad was doing some shit too. So
hold on, I'm finna tell you.
Fair exchange ain't no robbery.
I'm finna tell you. I'm not even talking about a degree to that. I'm talking about your grandmother didn't have a lot of intellectual learning. She didn't have a lot of advanced learning. So certain things like critical thinking and shit like that, and critical thinking skills, your grandma didn't have that, and she was the matriarch of the family. So basically what I'm saying in a nutshell, hold on, this is a 2-part thing. I'm going to tell y'all in a nutshell, and this might hurt some of y'all feelings, but your grandma wasn't very smart. And she she had a whole bunch of money. No, and when I say
grandma used to fucking... Let me get this joke out. Grandma used to preserve peaches and make jams. Nigga, fuck that.
She was smart in those type of aspects. But I'm talking about on the things that intellectual skills. That's why you got a lot of aunties and mamas that if you gave them logic and theory, they say, well, all I know, and they repeat the same dumb shit they do, because they learned from grandma a lack of critical thinking skills, the lack of emotional intelligence, the lack of how to figure this thing out, only how to survive. Mm-hmm. So when you factor in that your grandma wasn't very smart, and all your aunts and uncles was raised by her, and y'all descendants of them.
Survival.
So y'all 3rd, 4th generation dumbasses. So when you factor that in,
don't give it to him too
hard.
Hold on,
when you factor that in, and then you understand that grandma got a lot of her learning, and grandma got a lot of her learning from church and the Bible. Because, see, one of the things why we fail to hold each other accountable is that grandma got her critical thinking skills from a preacher who gave her out-of-context Bible verses, and she came and passed that on to the family.
And some side dick.
But here's the thing. Like, one of the worst things...
And some side dick.
I'm glad y'all ain't talking about my granddad.
And some side dick.
This is the shit.
Y'all want to miss that part. Them fucking false prophet-ass niggas who in churches.
But let me tell you one of the worst aspects... I don't give a fuck. Let me tell you one of the worst aspects of one of the worst things, because a lot of people be against Christianity and stuff like that, but they just against it because they on some contrarian shit. But one of the real things is that, and all of which
niggas
heard
keep
this,
asking for your fucking.
Hold on.
Let me just say this real quick. I got you. You niggas keep asking for your destroyer for mercy if you want to. Eat a dick.
Let me tell you something. One of the reasons why a lot of black people can't hold accountability is because your grandma taught you this one dumbass verse from the Bible.
Grandma.
Hold on. Your grandma taught you this one dumbass verse from the Bible, but your grandma wasn't smart enough to understand the context. And that was, only God can judge me. So you got niggas doing all kinds of wild shit. And the whoop-de-whoop. That's bullshit. Because if you actually read the Bible verse, it says, judge not, lest ye be judged. And then it goes on to break down. What it's saying is, don't be a hypocrite. If I say, Tip, that shit you doing over there is wrong, if I'm doing the same shit, or I'm condoning the same shit from him, I can't tell you it's wrong. But if I know that there's a moral aspect, and I'm standing up to the morals, then if you really actually read the verse, then I can say, hey, Chip, I am judging you. What you're doing is wrong. I'm going to hold you accountable for it. No, hold on. This is a crucial thing.
No, I'm with you.
This goes along with what you were saying when you were saying that black people don't hold each other accountable. They don't have accountability. It's because a lot of us are taught, oh, I can't judge that person. Or let that person do. Oh, who am I? I'm not better than that person. But that's actually not true. If you are doing the right moral thing, according to that Bible y'all love to quote, if you're doing the right moral thing, then you have the right to say, hey, Chip, that what you doing is not right. That what you doing is immoral. But the flip side to that, the Bible says that if I call you out on your immorality, I have to be moral myself.
Exactly.
I cannot judge lest I be judged. And what that means is that I can't hold you to standards that I don't hold myself to. You can't be a hypocrite. But if somebody's doing wrong, but too bad me. But see, it's a lot of niggas is mealy mouth. They scared. They scared to call each other out on wrong. Yeah. I cannot want
rest in peace
the person that murdered them to be hung on 14th and Broadway. Whereas when my son went and killed somebody, see, when my son went and put in that work, I wanted the witnesses to not come to court. I wanted mercy. I wanted to talk about he's a victim of society. Oh, give him manslaughter. See, that's a hypocritical thing. When someone killed my brother, I want them dead. In fact, if the person that killed my brother walked in this room right now, I would kill them. I would pick up something. I would find something to kill them. And I would even kill anybody who got in the way of me killing them. Because I want bloodthirsty vengeance. And it's been a whole lot of years, but still, I would kill them. If I saw them in the car with their kids, I would kill them and their kids to kill them.
So
no, fuck that. I'm just telling you 100%.
I know.
But I'm making a point here. If the person who harmed my brothers, I would kill them and their mother and their children if that's what it took to get to them.
What you're saying,
and if I couldn't get to them, but I could kill one of their children, I would kill their children for them to suffer and feel the pain. But the flip side to that is when my son was putting in work, and he's still fighting the trial right now, I want my son to have mercy. See, that's hypocritical.
Right.
I want the niggas that killed my brother.
Niggas don't.
So I can't judge them who killed my brothers because I refuse to judge my son by that same standard.
And
because if people want to be like, because if somebody's over there talking about, man, your son killed my brother, so I want your son dead. Oh no, you don't understand. And it was a bad circumstance. Oh, he was called up. See, that's hypocritical.
I'm gonna give you.
That's a flaw that I have in my own personality. That's the hypocrite. So I gotta say, if I want these men hung and beheaded, then if the families of the victims of my son, they want him beheaded, I got to be okay with that.
Okay, so here's the gem.
So I want my son forgiven. I got to forgive the niggas that killed my brothers.
I'm gonna give you the gem. I'm gonna give you the jewel. I'm gonna give you the jewel on that.
That's that hypocrite shit.
Right. To the hypocritical. Right. And that stance is, I don't need, when they say I need the life of your child, it's not saying I need your child dead. I'm gonna give you this once again. This is something y'all to get at 3 a.m. You know, I need the life of your child. You killed my son, I need the life of your child. That's not telling me I need your son dead.
But I really do need the life
No,
of your child.
no.
Because
I'm
if you
trying
get
to
away,
give you something.
I want you
Once
to
again,
suffer, and I want you to
know
think that your son died because I killed him for revenge for my brother.
I need you to get this.
I want you to suffer.
I need you.
I've been suffering for a long time.
I get that, but you're gonna understand. The will of the Almighty is the will of the Almighty, whether you agree with it or not. I'm not saying I agree with everything that happens, but everything happens for a reason. You got to understand that. First off,
if I get a chance
listen,
to kill the people that killed my brothers, I'm willing to face whatever judgment in eternity.
I understand that.
I'm willing to face the judgment.
I understand that. But I just happen to be of a mindset to where I'm able to think deeper. And I've been in those situations where it was like, but once again, we talked about emotions and feelings. Once again, we're talking about an irrational, emotion-based decision. You have to, regardless of the situation, be able to remove the feelings and deal with it rationally.
I disagree.
How can you say what you said earlier and...
Because there's always a contradiction, because no matter how
there are no absolutes, but I'm just let me finish. No
matter how reasonable you are, there's always something that you'll say, fuck it, I'll burn this bitch down.
I understand that.
I'll drink to that.
I understand that.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that completely, and with it. But at the same time, if we're trying to be the elevated individuals that are progressing to be and trying to be, those heartaches, we have to really, and I'm just being honest with y'all, you have to say whether I agree with it or don't. I don't agree with what happens, but shit happens for a reason. There's a reason why as a young age, and I've never put a question mark where God puts a period. Because if you're religion, spiritual, and when I say God, I'm not just talking, I will never talk about Caesar Borgia because I don't fuck with dude. But I'm just saying, when it comes to higher power, with this season, reason, lifetime.
Anything is okay if you're willing to answer for it.
I understand that too.
If you're willing to face the consequences, if you're willing to face the
season,
judgment for it,
reason, and lifetime.
Okay.
But you got to make sure that
they say thou shalt not kill, but I would kill them and I would answer to God for it. I don't have a problem with that. And whatever damnation I go through,
that's what you're willing to deal with. I get it.
So anything is okay if you're willing to stand on it, because that's not hypocritical. See, that was my whole point.
I know, I get that.
You can't be a hypocrite.
I get it.
So if you're willing to do certain things, you got to be willing to stand on it.
But at the same time, you can't say my folks did some shit and hey, spare him, but your folks did some shit. You're like, oh, spare him. You honestly, you can't. Once again, and I'm gonna break this back to you gotta be exactly, and back to the Kevin Samuel shit. Once again, like I said, I'm only responsible and accountable for my own thoughts. You can't sit here and want it one way as long as it's to your good, and when the shoe is on the other foot, oh no, that's hypocritical, and that's the same reason why these disgruntled bitches. And now, once again, bitches is not sexually defined. Because males can be bitches
Round
too.
trip is correct. Different strokes for different
That's my little brother. Exactly. That's my little brother. That's Duck.
How do you feel about that?
So I'm just saying, you got to understand, when you put yourself in this environment, in this arena, whatever lane you put yourself in, and know the consequences of that arena wholeheartedly, whether you felt this right or wrong or indifferent, you have to, if you being real with yourself. Don't fuck being real with everybody in your circle. Let's just remove that equation, because a lot of people aren't that from the beginning. Be real with yourself first. That's the only person you hold a true accountability to, besides your spouse and your kids. That's who you hold true accountability to before the Almighty. Whether I don't subscribe to man-made religion, but the melanated woman is God, and hey, nectar of the gods is some shit. You should eat pussy. But anyway, I'm just saying, when you lay the shit down. You can't be a hypocrite about this shit.
No.
You
No,
can't.
be.
You can't be like, oh, they
no.
did this to us, and now we did it. You can't. That's some sucker shit. That's the shit that these motherfuckers who. That's some sucker shit. I'm sorry.
It's not hypocritical if you're willing to stand on it.
Fuck that. It's hypocritical. Call the shit what it is. The problem is everybody wants the gray area, and as long as it attributes and affects them. Everybody wants to include the gray area as long as it's to their benefit. But if the gray area ain't in your benefit, oh no, that's some bullshit. Just like prime example, I can have a loved one, a family member, a friend, whatever the fuck, somebody who I hold near and dear, doing the regular shit they doing, and they get took out on some bullshit, right? And I'm like, oh, hold this motherfucker accountable. Hold this nigga accountable.
I want to hear Tiff's opinion on this.
Hey, Tiff, yeah, go ahead, Tiff. Go ahead.
Let's hear your opinion on that. The public wants to hear
Tiff,
you. How do you feel about a scenario like mine? Somebody killed my brothers. I'm willing to kill them, even their children, if I have a chance to.
And I understand that.
But my son has killed people, and I want mercy for him.
How do you feel about
that?
First of all, I do want vengeance.
Yeah, you
and I
do.
see red, but the kids are off limits for me.
There's a but to that.
There's a but. What's the but?
I've suffered for decades without being able to get my revenge. If this person is able to get away from me one more time, am I outside my rights to be able to be like, you know what, I'm going to harm somebody they love so that they can also live in the pain that I'm living in?
Okay, as long as it's not a kid or elderly. I'm a killer with a heart, kind of, sort of. No elderly, no kids.
So even if that's your only chance to get vengeance on the person because they outside the way, you can't never nail them down?
If that's my only chance, I mean...
There's somebody you've been wanting to get. This is somebody that if they were standing in the middle of the police station, you saw them, you'd still stab them or something, even though you know you can't get away with it because
Absolutely.
you got to get this.
Absolutely. Yes, I would.
The elderly and the children, you still feel that way, that you would give them a pass?
I would give... Yes. I would have to... Yeah.
Here's the thing.
What's the thing?
And this is something. And once again, I'm gonna tell you something.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, and this is just being honest with y'all. Don't get me wrong. I've been through the angry stage. I'm never gonna tell y'all too much. But what I will tell you is, I've elevated myself. I've been allowed to elevate my thinking, my mental, and the way I do shit through life and the experience I've had, because I've lost hella loved ones and friends to some bullshit. And I will never say too much, but what I will say is, where I'm at now,
I might kidnap.
I'm in a space to where
Kidnap a kid.
and whoever can feel how you feel, whatever. At the end of the day, I'm gonna give it to the universe, because once I give it to the universe will get you back at the universe's time.
That's
time frame.
That's
not mine.
Elevated thought.
Because here's the thing.
Is that your true? Is that your true feelings, or is that your
true?
Or is that your
true? And don't get me wrong.
Comfortable elevated thought. Because when we're in the position,
I'm gonna tell you why.
We can be gracious. We can be like, well, I'm above all that.
That's when we start thinking we more than we are. Because here's the thing.
We can all be gracious, but when we get mad, we get ready to get right into some nigga shit with no hesitation.
And you gotta remember.
Buddhist.
You gotta remember.
Thoughts.
Here's the things you gotta remember. And once again, I can only speak on my personal situations and my true feelings. I've been there. I understand it. I understand that society wants instant microwave popcorn reactions to everything. If your dude touches my dude at 12, I want something done at 12:01 and 59 seconds. Let's look at reality and the depth of what really happens and goes down. Because I have to be. Because if I allow myself to be a low vibrational thinker,
it's not
then
necessarily low vibration.
Listen, there's nothing wrong with having low vibrational thoughts, but you can't let them.
Killing the kid.
Mm-hmm.
They never touch a kid.
I know what I would do. Now, I would probably kidnap the kid.
Nah.
Mm-hmm.
The kidnap? No, I would.
Go ahead.
Listen
Speak your truth. I'm gonna listen.
I would kidnap the kids.
I would.
I would take good care of them though. But I would kidnap the kids to make this person come forward. For his
so ultimately, safety. You wouldn't harm the kids, but you would use them as bait.
Right.
Well, unfortunately for myself,
I feed them. And
I'm one of those type of dudes that I was accepted into MIT when I was 14. UCLA when I was 16. So, in the academic aspect, I've always been considered exceptionally smart.
Right.
In fact, for the people who truly know me, and I'm talking about outside of superficial level, but they know me on the academic level, they know me on these things. If I was to say, oh, I'm one of the smartest people in the world, the people that really know me wouldn't blink. Somebody don't know me, like, this nigga arrogant, who is that? But the people who actually know me, if I said a sentence like that, or someone said a sentence like that about me, they wouldn't even blink. But one of the things, and this has been a character flaw of mine since I was a teenager, is that due to the environment that I was raised in, and I know I'm using that as a crutch because that's no excuse when you get to a certain age, but due to the environment that I was raised in, I'm also just as ignorant as I am intelligent.
Exactly.
So it ain't low vibrational thought. I have written PhD level papers, but I've also been involved in the most base level violence.
That could base level?
Like
basic? Start
shooting up shit, doing wild shit. I've been involved in that type of shit. So I am a contradiction in terms. I have 300-page papers that I wrote, and I've also been arrested for murder. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, you know what I'm saying? So I can be just as ignorant as I am intelligent, and I don't think it's low vibrational. I just think it's just a complexity of my character. But a lot of people who I feel like I can spout elevated thought and elevated thinking, but I also know that in the right circumstances, I'm gonna do the most nigga shit possible.
Because that's easy.
So I can't sit there and act like I'm better than somebody.
But that's easy.
Yes, I know I can be involved in some nigga shit. Only reason why I've been involved in some nigga shit lately is because I'm older now, more mature. I don't travel in circles that would shit jump off.
Hey,
but there's other people out, but there's people out there. It ain't low vibrational thinking.
No,
there's some people that are built for. If you want to break bread with me, we can break bread. But if you want to go outside and have a shootout, I'll indulge you in that too. That's not low vibrational. That's just the complexity of who they are as a person. And there's a lot of cats running around out here that got bachelor's degrees and got a parole number. You see what I'm saying?
I respect that.
Living in this urban jungle, you get complex individuals. You get highly intelligent individuals that have put
that
get active. And you be like, oh, you so smart. Oh, you should do this. You should do that. Why are you involved in that nigga shit, this and that? Because to survive in this environment, that is the thing. Put you like this. Huey P. Newton put in a lot of work outside the Black Panther shit. Niggas knew Huey P. Newton was a beast over there in the West Oakland streets, especially over that crack. But Huey P. Newton also had a PhD. So who could say Huey P. Newton was ignorant? But there's plenty of people over there in the West Oakland that say, well, outside all the politics, the Black Panther shit, Huey P. Newton put in work on niggas.
True.
Strip niggas for they dope, the whole nine. But he also had a PhD. So you can't say Huey P. Newton was low vibrational. You can't say Huey P. Newton was ignorant.
No, you can't. I understand that. I'm just saying, here's the thing. You got to feed both wolves. I get that. I understand. I respect that. But when do we... And once again, I understand the fight or flight, all that. I get that. You have to deal with the circumstances that are presented to you and the best resources available to you at the time of the situation. So if you haven't been introduced into critical thinking and thinking outside the, I gotta really just go ham hard on a nigga. I understand, and I can't blame somebody who the cards you dealt with, even though there may be 5 more cards that you don't understand. I can't blame nobody for dealing with the cards that they only understand how to deal with. I will never
that understand the cards and say fuck it and play them bitches
that,
anyway.
I get that, but at the same time, you got to give shit to the universe and understand and believe and listen to me. And I'm not talking about no church shit. That shit. No, I'm just speaking on some real deeper shit. And it may be in a blanket level, and I'm going to give y'all church people half a bar with this. You get this at 2:15. You won't get it at 3. Yeah, I give you this at 2:15. The concept of where you land this on the line and doing things and what you believe and what you do, it takes a lot of intestinal fortitude to understand and be able to live by this shit. True, wholeheartedly. I'm never gonna say it's not. A lot of people aren't afforded the opportunity to experience it, but at the same time, a lot of people don't have the patience to go through the whole process. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong either way. I'm not, because I get it. Because if somebody is raised on survival, they treat everything different than somebody who was raised on love. Same thing. They treat shit different. Somebody who was raised their life based on survival treats life completely differently than somebody who was lived their life and raised based on love. It's the opportunities that you were given and you were exposed to, and that you allowed yourself to absorb.
But I disagree on that, because you say
Vaughn,
it's
good.
You say
I hit him. I said slide through.
Come on, have a seat.
Have a seat, bro.
You say
I see it come through.
Like, okay, karma, you have a son, right?
Yeah.
But what I was responding to Kenyelle's comment.
That's you.
But Kenyelle, I have
Welcome,
sons.
Von Trapper, to the building.
Kenyelle, I have
Vaughn said you
sons.
around Tiff. That's still you.
I have sons, and I have a daughter who are very much with the shit. Like, I got daughters. Like, I got a daughter. I have 2 daughters who have master's degrees.
Right.
And I have another daughter with a bachelor's. But I also have another daughter who's 100% with the shit. I have a son who's going to be a lawyer one day, and I hope he makes it to be a lawyer so that he can get his brother out of prison. But I got another son who's about to get life, and I got another son who's following in that son's footsteps. But I got another son who's going to be a lawyer. So when it comes to karma, do I get the karma of my son who's going to be a lawyer, or do I get the karma of my son who's a shooter?
No, you get the karma of the whole totality of the situation. And I'm just speaking on that as, I'm not going to put myself on a high pedestal, but I'm just, and I'm going to say ignorance, because people will be like, he don't know what he's talking about, but I know half of nothing, but some of something. When you look at what's going on with us, the decisions we make, whether it's to go left or the right of the teachings of mouth to ear from Big Mama and all this, and the problem we have is, once again, the division. You look at the whole shit this conversation started based on was the way people was treating, bruh for when he passed, and the difference of opinion, and people don't want to deal with the truth. Mm-hmm. Or those. Actually, hold on. Let me finish.
Ugly.
Exactly. Truth is always ugly, because the truth is never pretty. Why? Because the truth means I have to accept some shit that I may not be mentally, physically, spiritually, or psychologically ready to deal with. Mm-hmm. Those 4 perceptives. Mm-hmm. And 4 is my favorite number, because that was my number online. But you'll get that at 3 in the morning. But
part of that is that it's sometimes painful to accept the reality of that.
Right.
Maybe
Who wants to look in the mirror?
Maybe some of the things that are going wrong in my life are my own personal things. You know what I'm saying? What do you think about that, Lon?
Well, yeah, man, because, I mean, this is what I think, right? What we put out is going to come back. The world is round. The atmosphere is round. Everything goes around. Even the solar system, the galaxies, everything is circling each other.
360.
So whatever you put out there, yeah, at some point it's going to come back in some sort of fashion after it's acquired its own ingredients.
Yes. Cook it.
You
Cook
know,
chef. Cook
it's gonna
chef.
go out there. It's going
Cook
to
chef.
acquire some. It's
Cook
gonna
chef.
snowball with its own little ingredients, and everybody that's putting out that same type of energy is going to mix, and then it's going to come back to us.
Thank you.
So can't do nothing about what we didn't already put out there, but what we can do is start putting out what we want to come back.
Thank you. Exactly. Once again, and it speaks on the what I said earlier. Don't put a question mark where God puts a period, and there's a mirror.
Is
The
God
problem-
absolute?
There only is Sith is absolute. So, and yesterday was the 5th, and the day before that was the 4th. Fuck July. May the 4th. May the 4th be with you.
But no, for real.
But
Is God absolute? When you say
it
What is
depends
God? Who is
on
God?
your level of acceptance. Because you may have somebody who looks and starts learning and seeing some ways and understanding of, oh, wait a minute. And when I say this to say, going against the bullshit that you've been taught, because you've been taught to be a trained test monkey through the annals of history. And let's keep it a buck. Once again, I don't have a problem putting this mirror in front of people and calling shit for what it is. At the annals of history, when we were in elementary school, when we played the Oregon Trail, which one of you motherfuckers sitting here ain't played Oregon Trail in elementary school? And remember,
I don't know
remember,
what that is.
I was gonna say, what's Oregon Trail?
okay, you ready? So remember, okay,
Chef don't seem to know either. Even though
Oregon
that
Trail.
was smooth how she slid out.
Okay, here we go. This is the way they
It's my
indoctrinated
cologne. She
y'all
didn't want
to
nothing to do with my cologne.
today's system and what was going on
over there.
in elementary school. Remember, I have this whole backdrop here of my face every so often, and this is psychological. So I'm gonna break it down to you. Oh yeah. So I'm gonna break it down psychological. My backdrop is for a reason. You see my face so many inches, so many feet, so many inches for a reason. I'm mental. You'll get that at 3 a.m. But remember, elementary school, you had the run board on the wall when it came to competitions or whatever, and it was, you say the start line was over there on that side of the room through the year, and you wanted to get to here to be the winner. We played the Oregon Trail. It was a game to where you lived under Pilgrim rules, and you had to start from the east and journey your way west, covered wagon. It was a video game. This is before Pac-Man. Actually, around that era, 6th grade. I graduated from elementary school in '86, Garfield. We played this shit. Even in 5th grade, we did Oregon Trail. This was when Commodore 64 floppy disk. So I'm finna tell you how you've been had a mental dick put in your ear from society. I'm gonna give it. You know me. I'm gonna give it. I'm gonna put that mirror in front of you.
In '86, I was
And
serving the year for assault. So
I'm just
missed
saying.
out.
So even before then, but I'm just saying from my childhood. But the Oregon Trail, it started before then. We had the video game Oregon Trail.
'86, I was locked up.
I get it. Okay, yeah. You older than me, so I get it.
I don't remember Oregon Trail.
I was selling newspapers and we was playing Miko's Arcade on East 14th and 23rd Ave. When Miko's Arcade was there and King's Boxing Gym was next door. That's old school murders. But anyway, so psychologically, the concept of the game, and it was in the class because they had the teacher would have the wall in the class. Everybody in the class, you got 30 students in the class back then. 25 to 30 students. So your avatar, the movie, I'm giving you some psychological shit. This is some shit you'll get at 3 in the morning. Everybody started on this side of the class, or this side, anyway. But you had, your avatar was a covered wagon with a horse, and you played the game. You do your everyday studies, but you had a period of time through the class where you did whatever you had to do for the Oregon Trail. It was, you go this day and you come, you rest, you go so many miles, you rest. Do you want to choose to rest? Do you want to go hunt and do whatever you had?
Smallpox blankets.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. This was Oregon Trail with us as youngsters before we was of age to do some shit. This is psychological shit that was put upon us. And remember, you had a motherfucker die from dysphagia, hella shit. You had, you got to cross the Mississippi. Do you want to do this? You're attacked by Indians. And what are you going to do? You had,
they call them Indians, or they call them natives?
In the game, remember, this is this is back in 86, 85, 86.
I was also locked up.
Okay, I'm just saying. But I get it. Okay, I'm just saying. We played this shit in elementary school when I was a kid, and it was 2K. Okay. I'm just putting it in perspective. Back then, this was the 2K. Like, my niggas playing Madden now and shit. When we was youngsters, it's 5th, 6th grade, we was playing motherfucking Oregon Trail. The game is still
never heard of it.
Okay. Wow.
So
your mission was to, you got your family in a covered wagon. You got to do the trail, and your shit was to get to Frisco over here in the West Coast. Okay. You started Missouri, somewhere in where niggas didn't matter. Once again, you'll get that at 3 in the morning. Your progress started where niggas didn't matter. Right. Black lives was nigga.
Kia says she remembers that.
Thank you. I mean, I swear to God, this is what it was in elementary school.
Okay.
I'm fucking 47. They've been fucking us forever. But that's where the shit started. It was your family going on, and you played you had so much time each day throughout the week to implement what you was doing and the decisions you would make, and how you progressed was dictated on the decisions you made. Hey, you got, say you had a family of 5, right? You start off with 5. Boom, and you know me, I'm always use me as the motherfucker who get the worst end, because I don't want people to think like, why you always make it to the end? I'm LL Cool J in that One Shark movie, but I don't mind being.
So what you get when you win?
Because I'm a survivor.
You get fucking participation trophy.
That's what you get.
What? Here's the thing. During the classroom,
you
going through the shit, you make the decisions of what you want to do. Hey, look,
you get
your ox, because remember, you had the ox that would take you.
Make it to freedom.
Listen, you were a pilgrim. You weren't a slave.
What'd you say, Tim?
You were a pilgrim.
Is that what?
Harriet Tubman.
No, this is after that. In between that, here's the thing about this game. Once again, I swear to God, I hope y'all get this. I want y'all to get this.
Well, pilgrims did pursue freedom. That's how they wound up here.
But they
were excommunicated.
They want freedom for the pilgrims. But they came over here
they
and
were
fucked the Indians up in the black folk.
That's another story. We can get on that one on another show. But I'm just telling you about this bullshit ass game.
I'm going to have to look that shit up today.
Oregon
Trail.
My son, my youngest, they had it, and I told him when he came, this was in elementary school for him. And I was like, dude, I remember this game when I was a kid, and I was like, this is what this game means. And he was like, wow. But to you people, I'm going to give y'all this quick, because I'm going to end this shit in a little bit, because I'm trying to go do some shit. But this game really represented, you weren't black. You were a pilgrim with the...
Wait,
okay, let me ask you
something. What part I'm confused about? How was you
5th and 6th?
I thought Pilgrims was hella long ago. Wasn't Oregon Trail? That's Cowboys and shit, right?
Right. That's what
But not the Pilgrims. Pilgrims is the niggas that had Thanksgiving and shit, right?
This was
Pilgrims
right
is one that
after.
landed on Plymouth Rock.
Yeah, but
Plymouth
later
Rock
on,
went
they
on
was
them.
way like in New York or some shit.
No,
Oregon
that
way
was
over
in
here.
Plymouth.
Yeah,
Oregon
Oregon
Trail.
way over here.
But that,
Right,
listen,
they supposed to cross.
the premises of this
crossing.
game was you started over here in the Bible Belt, and you took your family on a trail in a covered
But
wagon.
them niggas wasn't
Listen, they were.
No, the Pilgrims was some
You
niggas
see,
that came
once
in and
again,
ate with
you
the
letting
Indians.
somebody else's dictation of.
That's the holiday.
Thank you. You letting
Yeah.
somebody else's dictation
That was
The
in like.
Pilgrims
rule your thought process.
on,
I need you to think deeper.
Hold on, I'm thinking deeper.
I'm good.
Pilgrims
Hit
was
me
in
up.
like 1776.
Dude, that's when this shit was happening.
That was
There
the
was
niggas
no-
that did this.
There was
No
no.
good. Oregon Trail niggas damn near had cars. That's
No,
like the
no, they
Honey
didn't.
Badger.
No,
No,
this was
Oregon
covered wagon with oxes.
I'm saying niggas
Oxen.
damn near had cars.
No, they damn near nothing.
Yeah, a couple years later they had cars.
No, once again, bro, I wish you would just sit back and just listen and take this lesson.
I'm trying to
instead
listen,
of trying
but
to.
it wasn't Pilgrims
It
over
was.
way in Oregon. Nigga, Pilgrims
Yes,
was like in,
right.
in
Pilgrims started-
Virginia and shit.
Right, so he's saying that the Pilgrims
Hey,
started
right,
when
Doug.
they was started,
They exactly. They,
but
hey,
they was supposed to go
I'm trying
like
to
the
tell
U.S. ended up.
Thank you.
It
This
started- it
is
started
the
with
Louisiana
Pilgrims,
Purchase. All
and
this
then by
shit.
the time it hit California,
This
you had
shit-
the U.S.
Thank you.
Okay, let me quit playing on the
Please
dumb
do,
it
'cause
down.
you-
Let me quit playing on the dumb it down. I actually
Don't
have.
dumb it down.
I actually
Don't.
have. I
Don't
actually.
dumb it down for
hold on.
niggas.
Let me finish. I actually have a degree in history from San Francisco State.
Don't dumb it down for
class of
niggas. I need
1989.
you to be
No,
intelligent.
No, bro, say history good. I actually have a degree in history
Thank you.
from San Francisco State.
I'm saying.
I actually,
This game-
I mean, actually, that's one of the 2 degrees that I have. It's actually, I got it pretty
And I
effortlessly.
graduated from Lowell Middle School.
The point I was making,
game-
even though I was being joking, the point I was making is that the Pilgrims was in 16-something hundred. Oregon Trail was
1742 is when Christopher Columbus landed. So if you're saying 16,
that was
anything,
1620.
1742.
No.
I thought he landed in like 14.
Yeah.
14.
But
14,
the thing
no,
I'm
14,
saying though is that the
1492.
Oregon Trail was around 1840, 1850. The joke that I was
I
making
know,
was
but
that
I don't want you to make the joke.
no, hold on, let me finish. The joke that I was making was that those individuals weren't pilgrims. The pilgrims were specifically
All white people are pilgrims.
Okay, but then say that because when you kept saying pilgrims, I'm laughing because the pilgrims were specific Protestant settlers.
You know all that.
Protestant settlers.
Stop
who
making
were-
a point when there's no point to be made.
who were in Virginia area.
All white people
There was
are
no pilgrims in,
Stop
in
making
Oregon.
a point when there's no point to be made.
Okay. I was wondering.
Stop derailing the thread.
I was wondering where you was coming from. You kept
You
saying
already
the
know.
pilgrims
All
was
white
on the
people are
Oregon Trail.
pilgrims.
Okay, well say that part then.
You know that. That goes without saying.
now?
Huh?
Anyway,
You talking about pilgrims now?
Pilgrims were specifically Protestant settlers, and they were called Protestants because they were in protestation against the Church
Stop
of England, and they were,
putting
and like Trap said, they were
helmet.
excommunicated, and that's why they were given land grants in the
hey,
colonies.
Kenyelle said knock it off.
You know,
people. Exactly.
they were given land grants,
Stop.
and they came
Stop.
over. But the
Stop.
individuals who descended from them,
Stop.
like the Amish and the
We're
Dutch
talking
and
about
stuff like that, haven't left past the East
Stop.
Coast. So when he said the Oregon Trail, there was pilgrims on the Oregon Trail. I was wondering if
They
he knew what the
sure
fuck
was.
he was talking about.
Yeah, I did. You
Because
know
there's
I
no
do.
pilgrims, but then he's saying pilgrim was a generic reference to all white people. Oh, okay. Now I can dig that.
Settlers, conquistadors, but that's some other shit. I mean, let's call it what it is. Once again, the point of this was me putting the mirror up, and you derailed my shit. But
My
anyway,
bad.
thank you. Yeah, stop derailing.
Well,
my
you
shit.
weren't clear on
I've
your
always
usage
been
of
clear.
pilgrim. You
You-
said specifically said pilgrims was on the Oregon Trail, and I'm sitting there like, fuck is he talking about?
Well, then, hey.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
So anyway, once again, the point of this game that we were indoctrinated in as 5th, 6th graders, and you gentlemen are older than me.
Slightly.
You
But look
I
younger.
went to
Slightly, but look
Sister
younger.
Claire,
But look younger.
Claire Muhammad's
I'm 47.
University
I
until
respect.
I was in 3rd grade, and then I got
Yeah.
skipped to the 5th grade.
I get it. Hey, that's
And who was
intelligent.
Claire Muhammad?
That was, I
56
believe,
of
Elijah
past High
Muhammad's
Street.
wife.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So
A great
the
black
point-
man.
Yeah, the point of the Oregon Trail was to live by Pilgrim rules and get yourself from point
Religious
A
freedom.
to Oregon. That was the shit, and that's what we was put in. And you did that shit as a kid, and you had to make decisions. You know, you going the ox, and your ox broke his leg. Do you want to rest for 5 days and let it heal? Do you? These are all the decisions. But and when I say this, I'm really trying to make it a point. But that and the other games we played as kids. Because did you play Life as a kid?
Mm-hmm.
The game of Life. Remember when it was?
I'm not familiar with it.
Okay, so the game of Life,
Mm-hmm.
and that was the game. That was the name of the game, Life.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, you started from the start, and you spun the wheel to tell you when you go, and it was the fork in the road, and it was go industrial or do you go educational?
Mm-hmm.
Remember?
I'm trying to remember. I remember playing it. I just
Yeah.
don't remember how.
What
it
game
went.
system was it on?
It was a board
No,
game.
it was a board game. Board video games.
Okay.
When the game was given to you, but
Mm-hmm.
you didn't. Most niggas didn't pay attention. Most niggas didn't pay attention. The game was given to you early. It was given to you freely.
Rich Dad Poor Dad has a version of that game right now called
Right.
Cash Flow.
Rich
So,
Dad Poor
Life-
Dad is one of the biggest scams ever pulled on people.
Probably, and I probably agree with you. But Life was the game when you spun and you came out the block and you got to go left or right. And left was
Oh, Leslie
I'm gonna
making
be
fun
a
of me.
plumber. I'm gonna be a something, whatever. If you went right, it took a little longer, but it was the educational route to where your yearly salary would probably be higher, but it took you longer to get to the board to try to do extra shit. And a lot of people, from what I remember, they picked the other route as opposed to the educational route because they wanted that quick money. Anyway, I forgot what the fuck my point was, and I'm honest enough to tell you that I forgot what my point was because this nigga distracted my point.
Well, you was talking about Oregon Trail, and then you went to the board game of
and
Life.
that's why I really try to. When I be on my points, I just want y'all to let me get my points and that's my own fault because I allowed myself to be distracted. But the key
Y'all the
note
cook,
to
blood.
this is stop letting shit distract you.
But the original question that I asked you was, and not even trying to be funny, is, and
I ain't perfect.
let me break it down. The original question I asked you was, is God absolute? And what I mean by that is, are we looking at God as this omnipotent being who makes decisions and this and that, or are we looking at God as just a force of like, put it into the universe or this and that? Is God an actual being that makes conscious decisions and decides what's going to happen, this and that, or is God just simply a force within the universe, and if you put it out into the universe, you get it back? Because when I grew up in church, people would say, "Oh, it's already written." So I used to be like, "Well, shit, do it fucking matter? It's already written. God already knows what you're gonna do." They were always referred to God as like this being. He knows what's on your heart. He knows what you're gonna do. He knows this. What's gonna happen is already written in the book of life. And I used to be sitting there as a kid confused, like, okay, so God's the person. He knows what's happening. What's the point of all this if God then already said this, and happened? Then as I get older, people is like, oh, put it into the universe, and then they refer to the universe almost as an entity that could be considered God, like karma, putting things into the universe. So you had said something about you gotta about God, and that's why I said, is God absolute?
I think this here, okay, and this is just a theory because I can't prove it. But to me, the idea of God is the sum of all existence. And then within that, you have beings that have so much power and benevolence and capabilities that they can be perceived as gods.
So there's powerful supernatural beings determining what's going on and guiding us and stuff like that. Is that what you were referring to? Because I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Video game designer is a god.
Only thing I'm putting in my mouth is some poo nanny.
But for real, is God a being or is God a force? When you say God, you even said the melanated woman is God.
It's because she is, because that's the beginning of everything. And what happens is, and I'm gonna be real quick with this one. What happens is we get caught up in the testosterone of the situation to where everybody wants to be the whatever lies you've been told forever is the Father, the Holy Son, and the Spirit, whatever that bullshit is. But 1 + 1 equals 3.
Religion.
And exactly, religion is bullshit. I'm sorry, and I don't want to get banned again. You already know I've been banned once, so I try to be real slick and cool with the shit I say. But at the end of the day, without woman, there's no you. I get it. We are a vessel, but at the end of the day, there's no woman, there's no you. And if you fucking dumb enough to think that you the shit without the woman, fuck you. Kill yourself. I'm gonna go back to my old shit. Fuck that. Yeah, just one night. I'm gonna just say it. Kill yourself. You're not doing us no favors. No, I don't mean that seriously. I don't. I'm just being.
So you believe in the universe that? Do you believe that we're not just elevated thinking animals who maybe have a higher level of consciousness, or are we?
I'm so mad at you.
Or are we, or you know, do when like at the moment of death, is it over with? Or
No,
are we a spirit or energy or whatever that then
At the end of the
continues
day,
to go on?
I'm gonna tell you something, and a lot of people won't get this, and I don't expect you to get this. At the end of the day, you got to remember why you chose to be reborn, why you chose to come back, and a lot of us, myself included, we get caught up because you don't remember when you brought back. But the point of you coming back was a reason, and you have to understand and find what that reason is. Mm-hmm. And until you
elevate your thinking
and get that, you won't get that. Get it?
So once you become an elevated
You'll
being,
get that at 3 in the morning.
Man,
So once you
I'm
become,
never going to tell you the direct answer because you have to go dig and
so once you become an elevated being and you get it, then does your journey end or does your journey transmute into another form?
Which of y'all?
Les, we talked about Kevin Samuels.
Which one of y'all can remember your very first memory?
I can.
Earliest memories are, I have some.
Very first one, just one in particular. The very first time you realized you was conscious. When you think of that, did it feel like it was the beginning, or did it feel like you was waking up?
Do you mean in the aspect of us looking back now, or are you talking about at that
think
moment?
About that, because I remember.
I didn't know anything about consciousness or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking out the window, and I remember the dark sky. I didn't feel like I had just begun. I felt like I had just woke up.
I like that, and I can relate.
So, if you really think about it like that, what did I just wake up from?
Right.
It had to be the other life that I didn't remember.
I'm gonna give y'all something because I like what you going, and I'm gonna go there. And I've done this before, and Pharaoh might catch on what I'm going on. There's a nursery rhyme that we heard as kids, and you have to understand where this is going. And I'm gonna go somewhere deep. I'm really finna give y'all a deep one, and I'm not gonna give you the context of it. I'm not gonna give you the left or the right of it, and really I'm gonna give it to you just to do what you want. If you do nothing with it, that's on you. Listen to me and chime in if you get it. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream.
Merrily,
merrily, merrily, merrily, merrily. Life is but a dream.
Where we going? Are we there yet?
If that what I just said is, I can't give it. I'm to be honest with you. I can't give you the context of everything of that because you have to discover that on your own. But I gave you a gem, and if you don't pursue the gem or understand the gem, it's okay. But if you decide to pursue what that shit means,
I understand what you're saying.
Okay.
What you're saying is in the lyric.
Everything.
Life is but a dream. That's what you're getting at.
And I already said, when you understand, decide, and decipher why you decided to be reborn.
That's what we don't know. Did we decide it? Or were you just sit back? Did we flunk? Did we pass?
You always, the choice is always yours. But you forget and have to come back and be assimilated to the reason why you chose to come back. Here's the thing. And I'm going to just say this, and we'll end it in a little bit because it's Friday, Mother's Day weekend. And we didn't even get into the Dave Chappelle shit. Y'all want to jump into that? I got time. But I'm going to say something. We generally let the essence of what really goes on go over our head because you got so many different rays of light and different rays of dark and different as a rainbow. And I'm not talking about the coalition with the rainbow flag shit. When I say rainbow, I'm talking about the true essence of what a rainbow really means, not this other shit that you motherfuckers have
you mean the leprechaun and the pot of gold?
There you go. Just the essence of what the rainbow, all the colors mean. The essence of that, when you sit and bask in the ambiance of what it is beautiful. Not on some different shit. The shit that certain people trying to hijack, and I'm really trying to be politically correct, but I'm really trying to tell y'all, fuck y'all at the same time. The essence of that shit, what it means, is deeper than most people give it credit for. Because most people are low vibrational creatures because that's where they reside in. That's where they pay mortgage. And low vibrational shit. Mm-hmm. Most society, let's keep it real, they pay mortgage and low vibrational shit. Nobody wants to pay top tier mortgage for the real shit because that involves accountability and discipline. Thank you. And to my point, my post the other day, discipline means discipline. Stick to it, motherfucker. You get that at 3 a.m. Priv, what's good? Jonah, my bro. Yeah, it's yeah. So y'all want to touch on the?
What Dave Chappelle?
We can touch on it for a sec if you want.
Hey man, y'all was talking about Kevin Samuels, but
yeah,
I wasn't here. But I
rest in peace to the new. So let Nuke rest in peace. To you motherfuckers is on. Let me say this real quick.
Did he really pass away?
Yes. To you motherfuckers hating on bruh, let that man rest in peace. Whether you agreed with what he said or not, whatever. And if you really angry, that means he touched a nerve. And what happens once a nerve is touched means it's sensitive.
Man,
hit dogs holler.
I can't think of a better way to go. I cannot think of a better way to go. You talking about a successful run and going out like that? Yeah, y'all can hate on him all you want to because you'll be lucky to go out that way.
He's glory to the kingdom, to the shit that y'all.
I'm finna do it every day for the rest of my life just to make sure I die that way.
To you Caesar Borgia praisers, he went out on top.
All the chicks who I ain't been asking your calls and stuff, I'm finna call you. We finna do it until I die. I want to go out like that.
Hopefully no time soon.
Yeah, I got shit to do. Nigga. I owe people money.
Hey,
that's why he don't want me to leave.
I'm gonna say this on the Dave Chappelle shit, and I've said this from the beginning. You already know. This whole thing has been a blatant attack, and I wanted to touch into earlier, but I don't want to go deep into it because we going on.
Who was the guy that rushed the stage? Who was he?
I don't give a fuck about who he is. That's the thing. We keep giving relevance to irrelevant motherfuckers. It don't matter who the messenger is. It's the message.
What was the message? That's what I'm trying to find out.
I'm finna give it to you.
Yeah.
You ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
Which I've said from the beginning. From the beginning of this shit has been an attack on the freedom of speech. Most people won't think deep enough to understand that. And I'm real enough to understand that most people won't see the true game plan or the goal of this annihilation or, attempted assassination.
Yeah.
They tried to shut Dave down with the cancel culture shit. It didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
They came with different shit. There's been different assaults on the freedom of speech throughout the annals of history.
Mm-hmm.
Then you had Will Smith. Remember why? You already know why I feel, because, like I said, it's why I hated to speak on the Will Smith shit when the slapping everybody. Defending the wife. I'm like, fuck that. You niggas is losing sight on what's really happening.
Mm-hmm.
You're losing sight on what's really happening because niggas fall for the banana in the tailpipe every time.
Yeah, we got freedom of speech until you say something.
Yeah, watch what you say. But you got comedians now, because comedy is comedy.
Mm-hmm.
I come to a comedy show to laugh, relax, and chill, and let the comedian say what he says, freedom of speech. Because this corporation, because it's another country, that's another story you'll get, which I've always said, is First Amendment is freedom of speech. And this ties into the Kevin Samuels shit. And once again, y'all, I hope y'all decipher what I'm giving y'all with this, because I don't want to be too long-winded, but I'm going to say, the mirror has a reflection. You can't sit here and want freedom of speech or whatever that is, what it means to you, only benefit you. And that's the problem with motherfuckers. Motherfuckers only want the shit to work when it benefits them. When it's, but wait a minute, they get to be able to say, they get to feel how they feel. Oh no, that's some bullshit. No, you're a hypocrite.
Mm-hmm.
My bad. Let's put this mirror.
A mediocre comedian being canceled, so to speak, is so far outside the parameters of what could be considered a free speech issue. You said something about, what was that line you just said about freedom of speech?
But watch what you say.
We always have freedom of speech until you say something.
But
watch what you say.
Here's the thing.
But why do we subject ourselves to that bullshit?
Here's the thing, and this is not even deepness. This is first year. This is first year political science class type stuff. There is no way under any definition that anything that this comedian is saying could be considered a
harmful
free speech issue. There has been no laws or ordinances passed to prevent him from speaking. This is not free speech. This is the very thing conservatives are yelling about, cancel culture and free speech. Mm-hmm. But cancel culture is truly a conservative ideal because it's simply the free market speaking. If I give you a platform and you say controversial things and people no longer want to spend money with my platform, that's not cancel culture. That's not a free speech issue. That's a free market issue.
Prerogative.
It's a free market issue. People have decided they're not going to spend money to hear what you got to say. So what do you need to do in the free market? Find a place that will give you the platform or create a platform. That's not free speech. Free speech is only speech that can be impeded by the government. Only political speech. Only speeches that an ordinance or law or some type of penalty is going to come upon you by the government for the words you are saying can be considered free speech. And also, free speech in any aspect is not without limits. You can't go into a theater and say, fire. You You can't see a gay
Freedom of
person
speech.
walking down the
Watch
street
what you
just start
say.
running outside
You
yelling.
can't say bomb.
You can't see a gay person running start yelling faggot or whatever because you cannot have. See, this is basic political science shit. This is basic political science.
Freedom
You
of
cannot.
speech,
You
but watch
cannot
what you
have.
say.
You cannot have any right that infringes upon my right. You see what I'm saying? I can't yell. I can't
But
come outside and start
the same
yelling
time-
nigger at you because that impedes upon your right to
the same
life,
time-
liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That's in the fucking
You're not
Constitution.
included in that fucking definition.
No, I'm talking about. No, hold on. So I can. So if I come and say certain things to you, and you be like, "Hold on, man,
You ain't
you
included
assault me
in
with
that
that."
definition.
I can't then say,
Stop including
"Oh,
yourself in shit that you wasn't
that's
supposed to
stopping
include
my
in.
freedom of speech." No, freedom of speech
You are
is
not
freedom of
included.
speech. The First Amendment is not absolute. And Dave
Yes, it
Chappelle,
is.
there's nobody putting Dave Chappelle in jail for the things that he's saying, so that's not free speech. In other countries, journalists criticize the government and they go to jail. That's free speech. Just Dave Chappelle standing up there holding his dick and talking about I hate transgenders and people saying, "Hey man, turn that shit off." That's not freedom of speech.
Bullshit. Freedom of speech is say what the fuck you feel and say what you
No,
want.
no, you cannot say what you.
True. Here's
No.
the thing. Stop putting
Who's stopping Dave Chappelle from saying what he's saying?
the agenda.
Who?
The same
What
reason you got
agenda?
motherfuckers.
Who's stopping him?
I see the point. No
The
one's
sa-
stopping him except for the guy that jumped on the stage and tried to stop him.
Okay, that's
agenda-
a person.
but
That's
that's-
an
yeah,
individual.
But do you
about.
think that person acted alone? Come on, keep it a buck, bro.
So you mean someone went and hired that man and sent that man
So
there?
you
Who's some guy with a white beard?
gonna turn the blind eye to the bullshit.
No, what I'm saying though is that you're saying that this is a First Amendment freedom of speech issue, and that's framing it incorrectly because there's no freedom of speech violation in somebody
Yes, there is.
saying I don't want to hear what the fuck that man's saying. That's free market capitalism.
The problem-
which is
here's the
what this
thing.
country is based on.
If I'm selling
If I'm up there
sausages,
doing country and western
I'm
rapping and
selling
people
sausages-
saying, I ain't trying to hear that shit. They're not stopping my
Don't-
freedom of speech.
Right. You
don't
still keep saying it.
that's
Yeah.
it. Don't
There's nobody's
patronize
paying
my
you for
shit.
it.
You don't have to patronize my shit. That's your
Right.
freedom of choice,
Yeah.
freedom of
Right.
expression, freedom to spend your dollars the way you want. Don't spend your money to come and try to upstage me on some bullshit to silence me with you and your
But that's not a
agenda.
government entity doing this. And that's freedom of
so
speech.
okay, and actually,
I don't think the government.
I'm
does
not
that
even
to jumping on
entertain
the
that
stage of a
bullshit
comedian.
thought process.
I really don't. I don't think the government
I'm
did that.
too advanced in my thought process.
I think he was a fanatic.
No, fuck that. Y'all, please
What part of the First Amendment is what part of the First Amendment
stop.
is stopped by people saying, "Hey man, turn that shit off. I don't want to hear that."
Exactly. They got the choice to say I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
But when you take it upon yourself to go impede on what this person is saying, to interrupt what they doing,
That's just simply assault.
Yeah, he gonna go
That's
buy
battery.
a ticket, go
Come
to the
on.
concert. I'm gonna
For
stop
what?
this show.
that's some bullshit.
I've got to stop this show.
You can't.
People are laughing.
Hey, here's the thing, and now here's again, the real shit. No, stay. Here's the real shit. Here's the real shit. Even when it comes to races, because you know us as black people, whatever you want to call you niggas want to call yourselves today. When it comes to us, we so quick.
Involuntary immigrants.
We was here first. We didn't immigrate nothing. Stop falling to the false narratives. Once again, I know some shit, but here's the thing: we always fall to this narrative of the bullshit, and we claim the shit. Like, stop letting these people put their flaccid penis in your mouth and ejaculate in your throat and calling the shit root beer. No, it's rape. Here's the thing.
That was some disgusting.
Because sometimes you got to go there and put the mirror. I'm Kevin Samuels right now.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, psychologically, I'm Kevin Samuels right now. Because niggas done pissed me off. You got to put the mirror in the mirror. The reflection gonna be the reflection. You can call the shit.
I use that analogy all the time.
You can call the shit what you want to do, all you want, but call the shit what it is. Stop making excuses for the shit that happens, and to make it acceptable to you on the level you are able to deal with the accountability of the shit. Bullshit is bullshit. If I'm sitting here selling popcorn, because I'm gonna go off race, I'm gonna take it non-race, because I sometimes you got to break shit down to people. It's like weed, you got to break it down. When you want to roll it, you got to break it down. So I'm
Is that what
grind.
that is?
Yes, it's good shit.
Glad I stopped by here.
I'm glad you did too.
Because
Because we gonna end this shit because I got some shit to do. But I'm gonna break it down to y'all real quick. You break the shit down. The essence of this shit is if I'm sitting here saying what I feel, you don't have to agree with it. You are able and within your right to not agree with the fuck I say. You wrong as fuck when you do anything to impede what I feel. And now, once again, hold on, let me finish. I don't want you to interrupt because I really want to say what I want to say. Mm-hmm. And it goes both ways. Mm-hmm. And I've always been since I was a kid. Whether I agree with you or not. And that comes to with the Klan people. Because remember, and you niggas is older than me. When Klan people had rallies, they filled out the permits to have those rallies. So the city said, they're within their right, freedom of speech. So don't fucking sit here right now and try to justify this shit that happened with the, that's not free. No, because Klan people was able to have their rallies, walk down, whether they was protesting against gays, against Latinos, brown, niggas, whatever, because they filled the permit out.
And they were also the ones who granted the permits.
What is freedom of speech? Stop putting limitations on what you think freedom of speech is because it doesn't fit the definition of freedom of speech for you at the moment as long as it justifies your point. Freedom of speech is freedom of speech. Right. Whether you speak right on the cause or wrong on the cause, freedom of speech in its true essence, and that's the problem with niggas and other people is we only bring the shit in as long as it's to our benefit.
I get your point because you're making a good one.
That will always and only be my point.
The KKK and skinheads and stuff like that.
Have your marches, say what you say.
But once they go out,
but fuck you, don't touch
the rally. Then you got citizens.
It's freedom of speech.
That's trying to impede on their freedom of speech.
Is it freedom of speech?
They have the permits and everything.
Answer the question. Yeah.
Yes.
But answer the question.
Like all of the pieces. If you
I don't agree with their statement is.
But save yourself a slice.
And this is my thing. I don't agree with what their purpose is, but is that freedom of speech? Because that's the point. We lose the thought and the purpose of the intent.
So
what we have going on right now in society is basically a popularity contest. If you don't say what everybody likes, they want to pull their money and their attention away from you. You know, but actually they pull their money away from you, but they end up giving you attention.
Rob.
That
thank you, bro.
Into revenue.
I'm just kidding. Right. But the problem, once again, like I said, right, wrong, or indifferent. Freedom of speech from what was written down. Fuck everybody's interpretation in 2022. Because that's the problem. Everybody wants to include
the actual First Amendment
is freedom of speech.
It talks about freedom for political repercussions for your speech. That's why the Klansmen can have a rally.
Exactly. In the same way,
it would be the government impeding upon them if they fill out a permit and they say we will not grant you a permit because we do not like what you're going to say.
But you have these entities.
That is the government. I'm wondering, literally, and no insult to you gentlemen. No insult to you gentlemen, but I'm wondering if you guys even took the civics class in the 8th grade because the points that you're making are completely illogical to the actual tenets of free speech and the actual First Amendment. I'm starting to wonder if either of you have ever actually read
I'm not debating on what freedom of speech is. I'm just saying what happened on Dave Chappelle's stage
has nothing to do with political.
Right, it has nothing to do with freedom of speech
because it's not political.
It has to do with popularity. It has to do with popular opinion.
That's free market capitalism.
He felt like he didn't like what he was saying.
Mixed the shit
in. Hell with the law. I'm going to take this shit in my own hands. Because the law, he's not, like he said, Dave Chappelle is not breaking no laws.
Yeah, there's no law. And there's no one stopping what he's saying.
And whoever his group was, didn't like the speech that he was free to say that he was using, so they decided to jump on stage and tackle the man.
If a gay man is walking down the Capitol right now with a
flag,
and somebody jumps out and gay bashes him, that's not the government doing that.
But what happens is, not the government. What happens is, And once again, like I said, society takes that little spectrum of disrupting. Anytime you disrupt someone's ability to say what they're saying, fuck. I get what you're saying, but let's call shit what it is. Let's stop adding.
You obviously don't get what I'm saying.
I do,
because you're not going.
But listen what I'm saying.
Okay.
Anytime you disrupt somebody's ability to say what they're saying, you're interrupting their ability of freedom of speech. Period. Call it what it is.
But it's been backfiring. It backfired with Will Smith. Because now Chris Rock is worth so much money now. And now I didn't even know Dave Chappelle was having the show until this happened. I didn't know the Oscars was going on until Will Smith slapped.
I don't give a fuck about the Oscars.
I didn't know that Dave Chappelle was having the show until I seen that.
Who drinking with me tonight?
You know what I'm saying? So it's happening.
Let me know where y'all at. I'll probably
all
pop
you
up with bottles.
All you fanatics is out there thinking that y'all need to run up on somebody's stage and stop them. You ain't doing nothing but hurt. You ain't doing nothing but hurting your own cause.
Here's the thing. Exactly.
Way back in the day when they was marching against Short Eminem. They blew him up.
The point is, and this is my only point, and I hope y'all get it. All this shit, this showmanship, this shit is distraction, true. But it's always been an attack on freedom of speech. Because comedians, when you look at comedy, what comedians are, comedians have always had free range to say shit that nobody was comfortable to say. I mean, you should be able to say what you feel and whatnot. But comics were always given a pass to go there.
Yeah, that's why it was the first one's cussing.
And this is a blatant attack on what is the true essence of what freedom of speech is. And when I say that, I mean that's what true essence of freedom of speech means to me.
That's okay. And that's one of the problems. It's not necessarily a problem. It's a good thing with America. But one of the things about America is that America is ruled by populism.
By motherfuckers that don't even live here.
And unfortunately,
I'm ready to go smoke.
Unfortunately, the evolution of American society has produced.
Yeah, where you at?
Produced
a
section of American society that feels like their wrongness is just as good as someone's correctness because we're all free. But actually, wrong is wrong, right is right. Definitions have meanings. The First Amendment is not in any threat or danger by somebody trying to punch Dave Chappelle.
Bullshit. And once again, I
not from that. No,
I know because here's the thing. And once again, and I don't. I look at shit.
That's only by the government.
I call shit what it is. What happens is we systematically and historically, the offenses that start to breach the wall, we always slap them off as, nah, that's not what that means. Call shit what it is. Stop.
Yes.
Call shit what it is. Because what happens
no
here,
government entity
look at comedy.
Dave Chappelle.
Bullshit.
No,
it starts small.
I agree with that.
So you really think that they don't send little minions to start shit early?
No, but they're not
using the law. Let me ask y'all this.
Using the law.
No.
Who is they? Some mysterious entity of government.
I swear to God.
The government
Please don't tell me you brothers is that ignorant to this shit.
They are manipulating. They manipulate.
Don't tell me y'all do. I highly respect y'all.
I'll give you an example.
Y'all know that.
I'll give you an example.
But please tell me
who is
that
they?
you don't think it's possible.
Who is they? Is there a senator, a mayor, a congressperson that said
the law is the pen?
The
law is the pen. It's written down on paper.
And why would the government try to stop Dave Chappelle from cracking transgender jokes? What would the government be trying to accomplish by socking Dave Chappelle on stage, knowing that that's going to galvanize public opinion for him?
It's going to
because the average American, because see, the average American is poorly educated.
True.
The average American's ideal of education is studying the internet, but they don't have critical thinking, they don't have philosophy, they don't have elevated intellectual thinking to think of things in context. So we love to simplify shit. So the average American is going to be like, oh, that's fucked up what they doing to Dave Chappelle. So no government is sending somebody to stop Dave Chappelle. Stop Dave Chappelle.
It's probably crashed.
I understand what you're saying.
But why would the government? Why would the government?
Shitty cuz or something
Why
like
would
that,
the LGBTQ send somebody to punch Dave Chappelle with knowing that that's going to galvanize public opinion in support of Dave
Nobody
Chappelle?
know, because you have motherfuckers who are part of the. Never mind. I'm gonna end it like this. Y'all,
It's the man. Okay,
no, I'm never call it the man, because that's the general, and that's the thing about it. That's the double-edged sword about the shit. I'm gonna just tell you this, people. If you want to continue to sit on the train tracks and close your eyes and say the train ain't coming, do that. You have the right to do that and feel that. You do. There's people out here who actually see shit, and you may not see it. And then once again, Harriet Tubman should have shot a lot of you niggas. Should have. I said it. I don't give a fuck. You can take my sponsorship, whatever. I don't give a fuck. Harriet Tubman should have shot a lot of motherfuckers.
She wasn't offering.
But at the same time,
you notice she came and she said, "I just want
people need to live and live." I'm just keeping it a buck.
She wrote down in her book.
The train coming. You niggas keep.
They want
you motherfuckers keep acting like it ain't coming. The train coming, and if you stay on the tracks and close your eyes, you roadkill. We out of here tonight. Fuck.